Good morning. Sada Jain and once again, a warm welcome to JITO Bangalore chapter, North chapters first and mega event, Real Estate Expo and Conclave 23. Let's start our inauguration with the auspicious recital of Nakar Mantra. I request all the members to raise where they are seated and please remove your footwear for the Nakar Mantra recital. Thank you, everyone. Now that we received the blessings, let's dispel the darkness and light the lamp. I would now request the dignitaries to please come on the dais as I call upon the names. First, I would like to invite our chapter chairman, Shri Inder Bohra, to please come on the dais and welcome the dignitaries. I would request Shri Rajendraji Chajet, Vice Chairman JITO Apex, to please come on the dais. Shri Ashok ji Salecha, KKZ Zone Chairman. Shri Lehar Singh ji Siroya, our Chief Guest for today, Honourable Member of Parliament. Shri Tejraji Sa Gullecha, Chairman Advisory Committee, JITO Apex. Shri Vimal ji Kataria, our main sponsor of Real Estate Expo and Managing Director of Vaishno Devi Group. Shri MAHAVEER ji MEHTA, our associate sponsor and Managing Director of Swamitva Group. Shri Ranjit ji Shah, associate sponsor of today's event and Managing Director of RR Buildcon. Shri Praveen ji Shah, our Vice Chairman, JITO Bangalore North Chapter and Real Estate Expo Convenor for the event. Shri Sanjay ji Lunkad, Conclave sponsor, SN Raj Corporation. Now, I would request Shri DIlip ji Jain, Chief Secretary, JITO KKG Zone, and Shri Deepak ji Shri Shimal, Bangalore South Chapter, Chief Secretary, to please come and welcome the dignitaries as I call upon. Shri Dilip ji Surana, Director, JITO Apex. Shri Hitesh ji Palrecha, Director, JITO Apex. Shri Manoj ji Jain, Director, JITO Apex. Shri Narendra Singh ji Samar, Director, JITO Apex. Shri Sanjay ji Setia, Director, JITO Apex. Shri Shailesh ji Haran, Director, JITO Apex. Shri Vinod ji Jain, Director, JITO Apex. Shri Ramesh ji Haran, Chairman, Shraman Arogyam, JITO Apex. I would request our guidance committee, Shri Prakash ji Singh, Past Chairman, JITO Bangalore. Shri Rajendra ji Gandhi, Past Chairman, JITO Bangalore. Shri Paras ji Bhandari, Past Chairman, JITO Bangalore. Shri Ashok ji Naguri, Past Chairman, JITO Bangalore. Shri Praveen ji Bafna, Vice Chairman, KKG Zone. Shri Shipal ji Khivesra, Past Chairman, JITO Bangalore. Shri Ashok ji Naguri, Past Chairman, JITO Bangalore. Shri Dinesh ji Bohra, Chairman, JITO Bangalore South. Shri Rajesh ji Mutta, Vice Chairman, JITO Bangalore North. Shri Siddharth ji Bohra, Vice Chairman, JITO Bangalore North. Shri Subhaji Khivesraj, Vice Chairman, JITO Bangalore North. I request all the dignitaries to please be on the stage for a final photo shoot of the lamp lighting. Thank you, dignitaries, for the blessings and lighting the lamp. I would request our youngest JITO member here, our chairman, JITO Bangalore North chapter, Shri Inder Bohra, to please welcome the gathering.
जय जिनेंद्र, आवाज कम आ रही है। जय जिनेंद्र, आवाज कम आ रही है। जय जिनेंद्र। देखिए, आज का रियल एस्टेट एक्सपो एक शानदार मेगा प्रोजेक्ट जो आज इनॉग्रेशन होने जा रहा है, और आज हमारे बीच चीफ गेस्ट श्रीमान शाह लहर सिंह जी, राज्यसभा एमपी, राजस्थान इंडियन भारत सरकार के हमारे एमपी साहब का हमारे नॉर्थ जीतो परिवार, टोटल जीतो परिवार से हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन करते हैं। श्रीमान शाह लहर सिंह जी, सिरोया। अभी जीतो अपेक्स वाइस चेयरमैन श्रीमान शाह राजेंद्र जी जैन, उनका भी जीतो परिवार हार्दिक स्वागत करता है। गाइडेंस एडवाइजरी कमेटी अपेक्स चेयरमैन शाह तेजरा जी गुलेचा, जो हमारे मार्गदर्शक भी है, कहते हैं जीतो के भीष्म पितामह हैं, उनका भी स्वागत है। ऑल अपेक्स डायरेक्टर, शायद मैं नाम लूंगा तो बहुत समय हो जाएगा, उनका भी ऑल अपेक्स डायरेक्टर से मैं आग्रह करूंगा आप खड़े होकर सबका अभिनंदन स्वीकार करें जीतो परिवार का। ऑल अपेक्स डायरेक्टर, केकेजी जोन चेयरमैन शाह अशोक जी सालेचा, उनका भी जीतो परिवार हार्दिक स्वागत करता है। जीतो इंटरनेशनल एग्जीक्यूटिव चेयरमैन शाह महावीर जी मेहता, जोरदार इनका स्वागत कीजिए। ऑल गाइडेंस कमेटी बेंगलोर, उनका भी हम स्वागत करते हैं। कॉन्क्लेव ऑल स्पीकर का भी हम स्वागत करते हैं। जीतो बेंगलोर साउथ चेयरमैन डायनामिक शाह दिनेश जी बोरा, एंड चीफ सेक्रेटरी दीपक जी श्रीशिमाल, उनका भी हम स्वागत करते हैं। ऑल जीतो जोन चैप्टर चेयरमैन एंड टीम, यूथ विंग, लेडीज विंग, नॉर्थ एंड साउथ, ऑल जीतो सदस्य का हम स्वागत करते हैं, अभिनंदन करते हैं। आज का ये प्रोग्राम आपको मालूम ही है कि इसमें प्रैक्टिस है बहुत, हमारे बेंगलोर के जाने माने बिल्डर ले चुके हैं और आज का ये प्रोग्राम एक मिसाल के तौर पर आपके सामने पेश होगा। आप सबसे अनुरोध है कि आप ज्यादा से ज्यादा समय यहां पर रहकर हमारा हौसला बढ़ाएंगे और सभी का हम स्वागत अभिनंदन और एक बार करते हुए ज्यादा समय न लेते हुए सबका मैं जय जिनेंद्र, जय महावीर, जय जीतो।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद श्रीमान शाह इंदर जी बोहरा, द चेयरमैन ऑफ जीतो बैंगलोर नॉर्थ। Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are happy to recognize the presence of the sponsor for today's event, RR Buildcon, श्रीमान शाह रंजीत जी शाह, associate sponsor for today's program. रंजीत जी आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। देवी और सज्जनों, बहुत ही खास मौका है आज एंड हमारे साथ मौजूद है एक शानदार हस्ती who has been a two-time member of Legislative Council. He is an entrepreneur, a politician and a member of Bharatiya Janata Party, a senior party member. He has been holding various positions in his career. If you see the last 50 years, 5 decades, ladies and gentlemen, 1972 में उन्होंने अपने political career की शुरुआत की थी. He started as the treasurer of the local body. 1980 में जनरल सेक्रेटरी बने भारतीय जनता युवा मोर्चा बेंगलुरु के. And moving forward, 1988 से 90 तक, he has been the state executive member of BJP Karnataka. And he has been the national council member from 1993 to 2002, the state office bearer of and Nidhi Pramukh in 2004. In 2006 and till date, he is the treasurer of state BJP Karnataka. In 2009, he became the director of Karnataka Power Corporation Limited. 2010 से 2016, his political career started as the member of Legislative Council of Karnataka. And presently, again, 2016 to 2022, he has been the MLC of member of the Legislative Council of Karnataka. देवर सज्जनों, आज 50 साल के इस ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड में अगर उनके बारे में मैं कुछ कहना चाहूँगा तो 4 लाइनों में बताना चाहूँगा कि जिंदगी में कुछ पाना हो तो खुद पर एतबार रखना, जिंदगी में कुछ पाना हो तो खुद पर एतबार रखना, सोच पक्की और अपने कदमों में रफ्तार रखना, सोच पक्की और अपने कदमों में रफ्तार रखना, सफलता मिल जाएगी एक दिन तुमको, बस खुद को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए तैयार रखना। सो देवी और सज्जनों, जोरदार तालियों के साथ स्वागत करेंगे आज के चीफ गेस्ट एंड एंटरप्रेन्योर, बिजनेसमैन, पॉलिटिशियन एंड द प्राइड ऑफ जेन्स एंड बैंगलोर, श्रीमान शाह लहर सिंह जी सिरोया। एक बार जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत करेंगे हमारे चीफ गेस्ट श्रीमान शाह लहर सिंह जी सिरोया का। सर, आप कृपया मंच पर पधारें और अपना वक्तव्य प्रस्तुत करें। श्रीमान शाह लहर सिंह जी सिरोया, और मैं निवेदन करूंगा सुधीर जी से, कृपया आप लहर सिंह जी को मंच पर एस्कॉर्ट करें। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
सबको मेरा नमस्कार और मकर संक्रांति की इस पावन अवसर पर आपको शुभकामनाएं, मंगल कामनाएं, और नववर्ष भी आपके लिए बहुत शुभ हो। जीटो एक संस्था है जिसमें प्रमुख लोग ज़्यादा हैं, इस एसोसिएशन ऑफ लीडर्स। जब मंच पर आ रहे थे तो मुझे लगता है कि ऑडियंस में कोई बचेगा या नहीं बचेगा। मेरा सौभाग्य है कि आप इन बड़े लोगों के बीच में आज मुझे ऐसा मौका मिल रहा है। और श्री इंदर चंद जी बोहरा चेयरमैन, और दिनेश जी बोहरा, और नाम लूँ तो मुझे करीब 50 नाम लेने पड़ेंगे, इसलिए तेजराज जी गुलेचा और उनके जीटो के सब साथीगण वेरियस पदों पर जो हैं, और एपेक्स डायरेक्टर भी जो लोग हैं, मैं सबको मेरा अभिवादन। मैं परसों इस कार्यक्रम में आपके भाग लिया था। मुझे बड़ी खुशी थी कि आपने महिलाओं के उत्थान के लिए और महिलाओं को साथ में जोड़ने के लिए जो आपने मोदी जी के इस अभियान में कदम उठा रहे हैं, लेकिन आज जब मैं देख रहा हूँ तो महिलाएं नज़र नहीं आ रही हैं। और मैं समझता हूँ कि आपका ये जो व्यवसाय जो बिल्डिंग बनाने का है, उसमें अगर महिलाओं को जोड़ के रखेंगे तो आपके नक्शे ज़्यादा बढ़िया बनेंगे। मैंने एक छोटा सा प्रोजेक्ट बनाया था शांति नगर में, बहुत छोटा सा था। तो जब हम उस नक्शे पर चर्चा कर रहे थे तो मुझे हमारे एक आर्किटेक्ट ने कहा कि लहर सिंह जी, इसमें सीधा सा ये है कि आप जब अगर इसमें रहने आओ तो आप क्या क्या चाहोगे, उस कंसेप्ट को आप रख करके चलोगे तो आपका बढ़िया मैं प्रोजेक्ट बन जाएगा और मैं उसी हिसाब से बनाऊंगा। तो अगर महिलाओं को आप जोड़ेंगे, क्योंकि घर में रहना महिलाओं को है, तो शायद महिलाओं के सुझाव आपके ज़्यादा काम आएंगे। और मैं आपको बता दूं कि मैंने एक छोटी कंपनी बनाई थी आज के कोई 15 साल पहले, 15-16 साल पहले। तो उसकी कंपनी की चेयरमैन मेरी धर्मपत्नी है और वो अपने बेटों और पोते के साथ मिलकर के काम संभाल रही है कि मेरा व्यवसाय में जो आप मुझे कहा ना एंटरप्रेन्योर, तो अब मैं नहीं हूँ, मैं करीब करीब फुल टाइम पॉलिटिशियन हो चुका हूँ। और मेरे लिए एक सौभाग्य की बात यह भी है, आज संसद में लोकसभा हो या राज्यसभा हो, मैं जिटो से जुड़ा हुआ एकमात्र व्यक्ति वहाँ हूँ। और जब संसद में मैं भाग लेता हूँ तो मैं इस बात का ध्यान रखता हूँ कि मैं जैन समाज का प्रतिनिधित्व हूँ। वैसे तो मैं कर्नाटक से गया हूँ, यहाँ की 6 करोड़ जनता ने मुझे भेजा है, लेकिन क्योंकि आपके साथ आइडेंटिफाई हूँ तो मेरा कर्तव्य बनता है आपके मान सम्मान का भी ध्यान रखूँ और मेरे आचरण में ऐसा नहीं रहे कि आपको नीचा देखना पड़े। ये मेरा हमेशा कोशिश रहती है। और जिटो जिस तरह से प्रगति कर रहा है और अपने आप को देश के निर्माण के साथ जोड़ रहा है विभिन्न योजनाओं के द्वारा, जिससे जब पेंडेमिक आया था तो मुझे मालूम कि जिटो का सबसे बड़ा योगदान रहा, किसी एनजीओ का अगर हो सकता है तो जिटो का सबसे बड़ा योगदान था। और जब मैंने देखा कि जिटो के जुड़े हुए बड़े बड़े लोग, धन्याढ्य लोग जो अपने घरों में आराम से रह सकते थे, वो सड़कों पर थे, पंडालों में थे और कामकाज करके अपने खुद कामकाज कार्यकर्ताओं के साथ संभाल रहे थे। ये बड़ी उनकी उपलब्धि है और उनके लिए मैं उनको बार बार बधाई देना चाहता हूँ। और आज मैं ज़्यादा समय नहीं लेते हुए, क्योंकि आप खुद बड़े जानकार हैं, कुछ भी बोलूँगा तो मेरी समझ और जानकारी बड़ी लिमिटेड है, तो मैं ज़्यादा आपको ज्ञान बांटना नहीं चाहूँगा। इतना चाहूँगा मैं, इतना ही एक मेरा कहना निवेदन चाहूँगा आपसे कि आप जो बिल्डिंगें बनाते हैं उस बात का ज़रूर ध्यान रखें, उस बिल्डिंग में जो लोग रहने आएंगे वो अपनी जीवन की जमा पूंजी लगा करके आप खरीदते हैं और अच्छी ज़िंदगी में रहना चाहते हैं। तो आप जब बिल्डिंगें बनाते हैं, नक्शे बनाते हैं, उनकी प्राइसिंग वगैरह सब करते हैं, तो इस बात का ज़रूर ध्यान रखें कि जो आप नहीं रहोगे, आपके तो बड़े बड़े बंगले होंगे, आपके मल्टीपल फ्लैट्स होंगे, इसमें गेटेड कम्युनिटी में आपके बंगलों होंगे, लेकिन जो रहने आएगा, जो बड़ी आशा से आपकी बिल्डिंग में रहने के लिए आता है। और कुछ ब्रांड तो बहुत अच्छा काम करते, बड़ी क्रेडिबिलिटी है, और कभी कभी आप जानते हैं कुछ कई कारणों से चूक हो जाती है। मैं समझता हूँ कि आपको अपने व्यवसाय में बहुत प्रामाणिकता के साथ रहना है, क्योंकि आपकी प्रगति ही देश की प्रगति है। अगर आपकी बिल्डिंगें ज़्यादा बनती है तो ये देश की समृद्धि की निशानी है। और मैं समझता हूँ पूरा जो बिल्डिंग व्यवसाय है, डेवलपर्स हैं, ये देश की रीढ़ की हड्डी होते हैं। और पॉलिटिकल पार्टी भी जब कभी देखती है तो आप लोगों की तरफ ही देखती है सपोर्ट के लिए, और कभी कभी आपके साथ गलत भी होता है। तो मैं एक आपको आज इस मन से और विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूँ, आप स्वयं जितना ठीक हो सके रहें, और बाकी मैं आपके साथ हमेशा रहूँगा, क्योंकि आपके साथ अन्याय होता है और उसमें कभी कभी अपने लोगों की भी गलतियाँ होती है। अपने में से कुछ लोग, अति उत्साही लोग, शॉर्टकट का रास्ता अपनाते हैं, उससे कई समस्याएं खड़ी होती है, और जो अपने आप जो अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं उनके साथ भी एक समस्या आ जाती है। इस बात को ध्यान में रखते हुए मैं पुनः आपको शुभकामना देते हुए, ये आपका एक्सपो बहुत सफल रहे और आप देश की प्रगति और निर्माण में बहुत आगे से आगे अच्छा काम करते रहें, और जिटो के भाइयों ने जो मुझे ये सम्मान दे रहे हैं, मैं इस सम्मान का आपको आदर करते हुए मैं अपने आचरण में भी इस बात को लाऊंगा और आपकी किसी भी समस्याओं सुख दुख के लिए मेरे से जितना बन सकेगा मैं आपके साथ खड़ा रहूँगा। और दिल्ली के दरवाजे मेरे आपके लिए कभी भी खुले हैं। आप जब भी आप दिल्ली आएँ, मैं वहाँ हूँ, तो ज़रूर मुझसे संपर्क करें, मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगेगा। और मैं आपको नया पार्लियामेंट भी दिखाऊंगा, जो अब शायद अब बजट अधिवेशन उसी में होगा, यानी तो सेकंड पार्ट तो होगा ही होगा। तो मेरा आपसे आमंत्रण है, एक बार एक छोटा मोटा कार्य आप दिल्ली में जरूर करें। और मुझे मोदी जी ने मकान भी ठीक ठाक दिया है, जहाँ आप 150 लोगों का कोई आयोजन हम कर सकते हैं। आप दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत करते हुए पुनः आपको शुभकामना देते हुए और इस बात का निवेदन करते हैं कि आप महिलाओं को जरूर अपने व्यवसाय में साथ जोड़िए, जिससे आपकी और उन्नति होगी, प्रगति होगी। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद श्रीमान शाह, आदरणीय लहर सिंह जी, हमारे जो माननीय चीफ गेस्ट है आज के। मैं निवेदन करूंगा हमारे पास्ट अपेक्स चेयरमैन श्रीमान शाह तेजराज जी गुलेचा, श्रीमान शाह राजेंद्र जी छाजेड़, श्रीमान शाह अशोक जी सालेचा, इंदर सिंह जी बोहरा और हमारे एग्जीक्यूटिव इंटरनेशनल जीतो इंटरनेशनल एग्जीक्यूटिव चेयरमैन श्रीमान शाह महावीर जी मेहता, पास्ट अपेक्स वाइस चेयरमैन श्रीमान शाह पारस जी भंडारी, कृपया आप मंच पर पधारें। और आज के हमारे जो मुख्य अतिथि है श्रीमान शाह लहर सिंह जी सिरोया, उनका हम यहाँ पर फेलिसिटेशन करेंगे। बहुत ही कम शब्दों में बहुत ही बड़ी बातें इन्होंने कह दी। एंड बहुत ही खुशी की बात है हम सबके लिए कि पूरे जीतों से जो आज रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं पॉलिटिक्स में, तो दिल्ली में तो हमारे आज के चीफ गेस्ट हैं श्रीमान शाह लहर सिंह जी। मैं निवेदन करूंगा चीफ सेक्रेटरी श्रीमान शाह सुधीर जी, आप भी कृपया मंच पर पधारें। और हमारे आज के चीफ गेस्ट बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद श्रीमान शाह लहर सिंह जी, हमारे आज के चीफ गेस्ट। किसी कारणवश उनको थोड़ा आज जल्दी निकलना था, उसके हिसाब से हमने उनको पहले सुना। इसी कड़ी में आगे चलते हुए मैं निवेदन करूंगा हमारे जीतो केकेजी जोन के चेयरमैन श्रीमान शाह अशोक जी, देवी और सज्जनों हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। हमारे जीतो बैंगलोर के फाउंडर बोल सकते हैं, जिन्होंने एक ही मिनट है भाई साहब,
एक बात तो मैं भूल गया कि मैं इस प्रदर्शन के उद्घाटन की घोषणा करता हूं। धन्यवाद।
आदरणीय मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट श्रीमान लहर सिंह जी सिरोया एवं मेरे पूरे जीटो परिवार के सभी सदस्यगण, सबको जय जिनेंद्र। नया चैप्टर और नया कार्य, जो हमारा मेन जीटो का उद्देश्य है, जैन टू जैन, जैनों को ट्रेड में कैसे आगे बढ़ाना, जो आप कार्य कर रहे हैं, शायद अभी रियल एस्टेट से शुरू हुआ है, तो आगे जाके प्लास्टिक है, ज्वेलरी है, आयरन स्टील है, उसमें भी आप आगे बढ़ेंगे। और अब की बार एडवाइजरी में भी यही दिया हुआ है सब्जेक्ट कि हम अपने भाइयों को ट्रेड के अंदर आगे कैसे लेके जावे। तो उसके लिए हमारे अध्यक्ष महोदय ने एक अच्छा प्रोजेक्ट हाथ में लिया है। आने वाले समय में पूरे ऑल इंडिया चैप्टर जो भी है उनका कॉन्क्लेव करके उसके अंदर उसकी घोषणा करेंगे। वैसे बोर्ड के अंदर तो अभी पास हो गया है। तो मेरा मानना यही है कि आप सब मिलकर ऐसे कुछ कार्य करें, कंजोटियम बड़े बड़े रूप में, क्योंकि छोटे में तो काफ़ी हो गए हैं। आज हमारे जैनों में से भाई दिनेश जी का तो भी हमारे साथ में नहीं रहे, बट उनका काम, हमारे संजय जी का काम, तो मैं संजय जी यही बोलूँगा कि अपने ही बंधु कोई काफ़ी छोटे छोटे काम कर रहे हैं, उनको भी आपके साथ में थोड़ा मिला के बड़ा बना दीजिए, वही हमारी कामना है। बाकी सब जीटो चैप्टर नॉर्थ, आपको हमेशा ही आशीर्वाद है, क्योंकि आप नए हैं, इसके लिए हमेशा ही आशीर्वाद है। बट जीटो साउथ के चेयरमैन सेक्रेटरी भी यहाँ है, हमेशा छोटे भाई का ध्यान रखना, यही मेरी आप सबसे निवेदन है। धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद श्रीमान तेजराज जी गुलेचा, पास्ट अपेक्स चेयरमैन जीतो के फाउंडर, चेयरमैन जीतो बैंगलोर के, जिन्होंने यहाँ पर नींव रखी थी जीतो की, जो कि एक बहुत ही कुछ लोगों से ये पूरा इस परिवार की शुरुआत हुई थी, और आज आप देखते हैं इतना विशाल परिवार हो चुका है, जहाँ पर 4000 से ज़्यादा लेडीज़, यूथ और मेन मेंबर्स को मिला के हम लोग सब यहाँ पर है। लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, मूविंग फॉरवर्ड वी हैव द चेयरमैन ऑफ जीतो केकेजी जोन, श्रीमान अशोक जी सालेचा। मे आई रिक्वेस्ट यू सर प्लीज टू कम ऑन द स्टेज and address the gathering.
जय जिनेन्द्र। श्रमण भगवान महावीर के चरणों में कोटिश कोटिश वंदन। आदरणीय मुख्य अतिथि श्री लहर सिंह जी सिरोया, मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट राज्यसभा से, सम्मान्य जीटो अपेक्स के वाइस चेयरमैन श्री राजेंद्र जी छाजेड़, जीटो केकेजी जोन के सभी डायरेक्टर्स अपेक्स के एवं जीटो इंटरनेशनल विंग के चेयरमैन, एग्जीक्यूटिव चेयरमैन श्री महावीर जी मेहता, हमारे बेंगलोर जीतो की गाइडेंस कमेटी और सभी विशेष आमंत्रित आज के कॉन्क्लेव के स्पीकर, जीतो बैंगलोर नॉर्थ चैप्टर के अध्यक्ष श्री इंदर जी बोहरा, जीतो साउथ चैप्टर के अध्यक्ष श्री दिनेश जी बोहरा और दोनों ही बेंगलोर चैप्टर के चीफ सेक्रेटरी श्री सुधीर जी एवं दीपक जी, केकेजी जोन से पधारे हुए चेयरमैन व उनकी टीम, दावणगिरी, हॉस्पेट और मैसूर, इन सब चैप्टर के चेयरमैन भी आज यहाँ आए हुए हैं, उन सब का भी मैं स्वागत करता हूँ। जीटो केकेजी जोन के कार्यकारिणी के सदस्य, आज के इस रियल एस्टेट एक्सपो के कन्वेनर श्री प्रवीण जी शाह, सारे स्पॉन्सर्स, लेडीज विंग, यूथ विंग, मेरे प्यारे जीतो परिवार के सदस्यों एवं जैन समाज के भाइयों और बहनों, आप सभी को सादर जय जिनेन्द्र। आज का ये दिन जीटो बैंगलोर नॉर्थ चैप्टर व केकेजी जोन के लिए एक विशेष दिन और क्षण है, क्योंकि आज पहली बार जीटो केकेजी जोन में इस तरह का एक विशेष रियल एस्टेट एक्सपो का इनॉग्रेशन होने जा रहा है। अभी तक अपने जीतो के अंदर कई कनेक्ट हुए, ट्रिपल इवेंट हुए, कई एग्जीबिशंस हुए, लेकिन आज एक पर्टिकुलरली रियल एस्टेट को लेके जो एक्सपो होने जा रहा है, ये अपने आप में एक विशेष महत्व रखता है। मल्टी कमोडिटीज के अंदर तो अपने काफ़ी स्टॉल बेचना भी आसान था, क्योंकि काफ़ी वर्टिकल्स इसके अंदर थे, लेकिन ये रियल एस्टेट के अंदर जो स्टॉल को सारे के सारे पूरा इसको फुल किया और टोटली जितने स्टॉल प्रवीण जी ने एलोकेट किए थे वो सारे के सारे आज सेल कर दिए गए। इसके लिए मैं प्रवीण जी और उनकी पूरी टीम को तहे दिल से बधाई और धन्यवाद देता हूं, और पूरे बैंगलोर जीतो नॉर्थ चैप्टर को हृदय की गहराइयों से बधाई और शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। आज मैं अपने जीटो के बैंगलोर गाइडेंस कमेटी को विश्वास दिलाता हूं कि केकेजी जोन के सभी चैप्टर में इसी तरह नियमित इवेंट करते रहेंगे, जिससे जैन समाज के सभी वर्गों के लोगों को काफ़ी फायदा होगा। और केकेजी के सभी चैप्टरों को मजबूत कराने के लिए मजबूत करने के लिए भी इस लक्ष्य में भी हम सफलता जरूर हासिल करेंगे। हम जीतो के तीनों लक्ष्य सेवा, शिक्षा व आर्थिक सुदृढ़ता के प्रकल्पों में ऊर्जा के साथ समाज व राष्ट्र निर्माण के लिए कार्य करेंगे। जैसे कि ये केकेजी जोन के अंडर में ये इवेंट रियल एस्टेट एक्सपो किया, ये प्रस्ताव बेंगलोर नॉर्थ चैप्टर के आया कि भाई इसको हमको पूरे कर्नाटका लेवल के ऊपर करना है, जिसके अंदर सारे जिटो के चैप्टर इन्वॉल्व हो जाए। तो मीटिंग हुई, मीटिंग के अंदर ये पास किया गया कि भाई केकेजी जोन और बेंगलोर जिटो नॉर्थ इसको होस्ट कर रहा है। और ये फिर हमने इसकी पूरी मार्केटिंग पूरे कर्नाटका के अंदर जितने भी अपने जिटो के चैप्टर है वहाँ पे की, और कुछ स्टॉल बाहर से भी इसके अंदर लग रही है। काफ़ी चैलेंजेस फेस की। सबसे पहले इस एक्सपो के अंदर सिर्फ जैनों के स्टॉल लगाने का हम लोगों ने निर्णय लिया था, लेकिन फिर बोल दे कि बड़े ब्रांड के बगैर लोगों की फुटफॉल नहीं होगी, तो जो बड़े बड़े ब्रांड थे उसके बाद ये निर्णय को थोड़ा ट्विस्ट करके हमने जो बड़े बड़े ब्रांड थे उनको भी इनके साथ जोड़ा गया, ताकि ये पहली बार जो कर रहे अपन रियल एस्टेट एक्सपो का वो पूरी तरह से सफल हो। तो मैं प्रवीण जी और पूरी टीम जो इसके अंदर थे उनको मैं कुछ 2 लाइनों में कुछ इस तरह कहना चाहता हूं कि ये हुनर भी आजमाना चाहिए। जैसे प्रवीण जी ने अपना हुनर आजमाया, इसमें इनका एक ड्रीम प्रोजेक्ट था ये हुनर भी आजमाना चाहिए। जंग अपनों से हो तो हार जाना चाहिए, जंग अपने आप से हो तो जीत जाना चाहिए। ये जंग प्रवीण जी की अपने आप से थी, इसके लिए ये जीत गए। थैंक यू वेरी मच। जय जीतो, जय कर्नाटका, जय भारत।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद श्रीमान अशोक जी सालेचा, द जोन चेयरमैन फॉर केकेजी। देवियर सज्जनों, बहुत खुशी है हमारे साथ हमारे अपेक्स के डायरेक्टर श्रीमान दिलीप जी सुराना आप यहाँ पर मौजूद है। आई रिकॉग्नाइज योर प्रेजेंस सर। आई रिकॉग्नाइज द प्रेजेंस ऑफ ऑल द मेंबर्स हु हैव कम फ्रॉम द केकेजी जोन। चंद्रगुप्त जी है यहाँ पे, चेयरमैन ऑफ हॉस्पेट एंड बल्लारी सब यहाँ पे है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। मैं रिकॉग्नाइज करना चाहूँगा यहाँ पर पत्रिका, राजस्थान पत्रिका, दक्षिण भारत, शुभ लाभ और बहुत ही अलग अलग पेपर से यहाँ पर पधारे हुए, तो आप सबको भी मैं रिकॉग्नाइज करता हूँ। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। सो लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, मूविंग फॉरवर्ड वी हैव अ डायनामिक पर्सनालिटी जिन्होंने जीतो में एक खलबली मचा दी है जब से वो आए हैं। एक बेड़ा उठाया है कि मेंबरशिप को जो है एक नए मुकाम पे पहुंचाना है। He has been very active in various forums. He has been the founding member of JITO Bangalore also when JITO started. And अगर आप देखें उनके लास्ट 3 महीने का शेड्यूल, तो वो बेंगलोर में कम और बाहर बहुत ज़्यादा घूम रहे हैं। पूरे इंडिया में हर जगह पर इंस्टॉलेशन कर रहे हैं, मेंबरशिप ड्राइव को आगे लेके जा रहे हैं। काफ़ी एक्टिव है शिवांशी समाज में भी और ओवरऑल बेंगलोर के हर एक कार्य में। सो देवियों सज्जनों, जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत करेंगे जीतो अपेक्स के वाइस चेयरमैन श्रीमान सा राजेंद्र जी छाजेड़ का। यहाँ पर राजेंद्र जी, ओवर टू यू सर। तो इनका मोटो वही है कि मेंबरशिप को जो है डेफिनेटली राजेंद्र जी बताएंगे भी आप सबको कि इन्होंने जो विजन रखा है बहुत ही शानदार। ओवर टू यू सर।
सबको मेरा जय जिनेंद्र। अरे भाई अभी तक तो 3 स्पीच हुए हैं यार। जय जिनेंद्र। थैंक यू। भगवान महावीर स्वामी जी के चरणों में कोटि कोटि वंदन। रेस्पेक्टेड चीफ गेस्ट लेहर सिंह जी सिरोया जी, मेंबर ऑफ अपर हाउस पार्लियामेंट राज्यसभा। एक मिसाल खड़ी की है लेहर सिंह जी ने। ही इज बीन ए हार्ड वर्कर एंड दिलीप जी हैज रेड हिज जर्नी, हाउ ही हैज कम अप, हाउ ही हैज मेड हिज political career. I would like to tell that he has followed the Jain philosophy. He has not gone via media by giving something somewhere, something, not like that. He has followed the Jain philosophy and moved forward, worked hard and reached to this stage. So once again, we all on behalf of JITO Apex and all our members, we congratulate and we salute Mr. Lehar Singh ji Siroya ji for his hard work and for his dedication what he has. achieved it. Same way, we also have to recognize our leaders who have chairman, presidents, and all the directors. We have to recognize them also, who has given us this platform. First of all, our leaders, visionaries, industrialists, all have joined together and thought that first we should make the Jain community one, so they decided to make all the 4 firqas under one platform. This is the beginning what Lehar Singh ji, Siroya ji, JITO has started the platform. And that is how the JITO was formed. Then, what is this? Why JITO was formed is, it is known to everybody, and what are this, how many members are there and how many chapters are there, that all I need not say, but I just wanted to say a little few things about the members, what we have achieved now. Anyhow, Lehar Singh ji, Siroya ji, we have got 16, when we took charge, it was 1,629 FCP, founder, chief patron, and patron members. And they were 12,000 and odd, they were patron members. And total put together, including JTF, Shaman Arogyam, everybody, total put together, we had 40,000 plus members in JITO. Today, they are there. Now, taking way forward, within 3 months, we have added 375 FCPs and 1,000 patron members. This is a great achievement that within this 15 years, whatever the JITO has achieved, taking way forward, I just wanted to tell that how many people are liking JITO and they want to join JITO. So, we have achieved this. Once the payment comes, we could be able to tell you that we have achieved this, but I'm just saying you, we have made the members of these numbers. Then I just wanted to say that, Lehar Singh ji, Siroya ji, the symbol of JITO is Seva, Shiksha, and Arthik Sudharta. I just want to speak a little bit about that, because projects and all you members know very well. Seva in the form of Guru Bhagwanto ke liye seva, Lehar Singh ji sa, Guru Bhagwanto ke liye seva karne ke liye, we are giving medical treatment and we are helping the Guru Bhagwantos to see that they are treated very well. And we have, last year, we have spent 7 crore rupees we have spent on the seva of our Guru Bhagwant. And further doing seva for Guru Bhagwant, we wanted to see that the persons who are traveling with, walking with the Guru Bhagwanto, we have to do insurance for them also, and their family members also. Because, you see a lot of accidents happening, lot of, yatra karne time, chalne ke time, बहुत सारे accidents होते हैं, तो इसके लिए we, Shaman Arogyam, has thought that also. Shiksha in the form of JTF, we are giving shikshas for the youth and nurturing them and helping them to serve our country in the form of joining the civil services in the government. And Arthik Sudharta, empowerment, economic empowerment, we are doing in the form of Awas Nivas Yojana, scholarship, and JITO jobs. In that way, we are helping our Arthik Sudharta, Shravak Arthik Sudharta, I can say. I would not like to speak, friends, I would not like to speak much more on the JITO, because all you people know very well that how many projects are there, what are the projects doing, everything all of you know. But I just want to touch 2 points, what we want to do further. I just want to give an example that few days back, when our ladies wing of Delhi chapter, Lehar Singh ji might be knowing about that. That ladies chapter few days back of Delhi wing, Delhi chapter, been for 1 day to the Parliament of India. There, they wanted to meet all the ministers, they wanted to meet few ministers, few speakers are also they wanted to meet. So they sent their card inside. When they sent their card inside, it was written there that they have come from JITO. So when the JITO name was heard by these ministers and the member of parliament and everybody, immediately they were called in. So I just want to say you that is the power of JITO. So immediately they were called in. Acha, they are from JITO. They are, let them, they did not wait for anything. They didn't have to wait. So they were called in immediately. So that is the power of JITO as on today. So friends, taking forward, what we decided now, Lehar Singh ji sir, ki we have to something we have to do for our trade community. So we thought that for the policy making also we have to represent. JITO has to represent. JITO has become such a vast organization. We thought that we want to represent in the policy making of for the nation building. So we thought of opening JITO Chamber of Commerce, because that through that only Federation JITO of Commerce we want to open, and we have taken the decision in the working committee meeting, and it is passed in the JITO board that we have to move forward to see that we represent our community, Jain community, in the policy making, as well as all the difficulties and grievance what our Jain community has got, we wanted to represent through this federation. Because Lehar Singh ji sir, when you see that the FICCI and SOSM and all these organizations are there, but they are not particularly representing the Jain community. Now JITO has become such a big, vast, and everybody knows about JITO. So we also thought that this, we want to open it. That is the one thing we have taken the decision. And the second thing what Tejaji was telling, that is the chair, our president has taken an initiative to form JITAM. JITAM is one platform where we want our business people to be in the nation building as well as in the GDP growth. How that JITAM is one platform where this is a research wing. Now when the India is thinking of next 10 years, Lehar Singh ji sir, if I am not wrong, Modi ji's dream is there that next 10 years India is going to head to the $10 trillion economy, GDP growth. So same way, our Jain community, who is giving 24% of the income tax for the GDP growth of the India. So that way we thought that when India is growing, we want to make the research and see that we bring the businesses to our community. So we would like to select some 20 to 30 businesses and make research on that, give a, elaborately we should educate about that the projects, the businesses, what we wanted to bring it. And then we wanted to make participation of the JITO community to come inside that and select some businesses which they feel it is better. So that way we wanted to help our Jain community at large and JITO members at large. Way forward moving, we have also thought of, representing ourselves, JITO, at the international level to represent ourselves in the United Nations. So we have thought that also, that is in the process. We have to, we are in the process of that. Again, one more initiative for everybody of members of our JITO, I would like to say that we have taken one more initiative in the JITO board, that we want to make a fund of 100 crore rupees and above for our postgraduate students who want to study. For them, we want to give interest-free loan. So we will give them interest-free loan, 15 lakhs. We have made a fund that every student will get 12 to 15 lakhs rupees in this fund what we are raising. So that way, we wanted to help whoever wants to go abroad and do the post-graduation, professional course, all these things we want to help, because nowadays students who are going abroad, they will not have the fund for studies and all these things. So we, JITO, we have taken initiative in the board to raise 100 odd crore for this project. Other than that, I would not like to say much, because there is a time is very, I think so I should not bore you also. So I would like just again say that congratulations to Inder ji, Bohra ji, Praveen ji, and all the vice chairman, Dinesh ji, our chief secretary of North Zone, and all the team members. I congratulate them for this initiative. And what Teja ji told, I am again taking forward that this is the first time in the JITO at a chapter level, Real Estate Expo at a level of a national, it has been done. So I congratulate again for this initiative which is taken by Inderji Bohra and his team. Nowadays, as Teja ji has told that this, as you know, Jains, I would like to give you some statistics about the Jains which they are present, and then I will come back with it. I'm taking your only 2 minutes, I will take yours. So I just wanted to tell you, I just want to make you aware that 25% of the contribution of Jains are there in the national building, national development. 50% total charity is given by Jains in India. 20% textile company belongs to Jains. 20% pharmaceutical companies belong to Jain. Am I not correct? I think so. I might be correct that 20% of the pharmaceutical company today belongs to Jain in India. Out of 16,000 Gausalas, 9,600 Gausalas are managed by Jains. 24%, as I told, is the income tax paid to the Jains. 65% of gold and diamond business belongs to Jain. 46% stock brokering firms belongs to Jain. Media houses also belongs to Jain. 30% of total CS also are from Jain. So why I have put this statistics is, now real estate business is also going to grow. It is going to reach $1 trillion in next 10 years. So I want that real estate business people should try to focus on brand building. If you can't alone do it, join with somebody who is having a bigger brand building and develop yourself and make a leverage about it. So I just wanted to say that, again congratulating Inderji Bohra ji and his team, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Jai Jinendra, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, Rajendra ji Chajet, the Vice Chairman of JITO Apex, and ladies and gentlemen, एक बहुत ही खुशी का मौका है आज के लिए। हमारे साथ मौजूद है हमारे JITO के बैंगलोर के चैप्टर चेयरमैन, पास्ट चैप्टर चेयरमैन श्रीमान राजेंद्र जी गांधी, द जोन चेयरमैन ऑल्सो। एक अनाउंसमेंट है, देवी और सज्जनों, लाइक बैंगलोर, बॉम्बे, दिल्ली, हर जगह पे तो हमने बहुत सारे ऐसे अनाउंसमेंट देखेंगे, बट एक अपकंट्री टायर 3 चैप्टर से एक अनाउंसमेंट है। मैं निवेदन करूंगा राजेंद्र जी से, कृपया क्विकली यू कैन अनाउंस दैट सर।
I was just telling now only that, you know, nowadays JITO में क्या है, बवाल मचा हुआ है. तो without, you know, JATF members are, you know, we have made a JATF member in the tier 3 city, I can say. VG Parikh has become the JATF member of our organization.
Request Mahavir ji, please come forward.
Now I want to correct that Mahavir ji Parikh ji is, he has taken, matlab the membership has been given to Mahavir ji Parikh.
Okay. Narendra. निवेदन करूंगा श्रीमान अशोक जी, सालेचा and all the dignitaries, please come on the stage and felicitate quickly, because एक JATF बनने का एक ही मौका मिलता है जब आप एक गुलदस्ता हमारे कंट्रीब्यूटर जो है उनको दे सकते हैं। मैं निवेदन करूंगा श्रीमान दिलीप जी सुराना, आप भी कृपया मंच पर पधारें। And without taking any time, may request all the members of the team quickly please come forward, because we are running short of the time. Moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, very important agenda is there. बहुत बहुत बधाई और शुभकामना श्रीमान सा महावीर जी पारेख एंड फैमिली के लिए। May we have the video also ready for the sponsors, please way forward. congratulations, Shriman Sah Mahaveer Ji Parekh and family. Indeed, a great honor for the whole JITO Bijapur chapter that first JITF has been made there. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very happy to recognize the presence of Sri Bhaskar Nagendrappa, the President of CREDAI, who is amongst us. We welcome you, sir. Thank you so much for gracing this occasion. देवी और सज्जनों, एक बहुत ही important पड़ाव पर हम जा रहे हैं आगे. देखिए, इस large scale का बहुत ही सही कहा हमारे वाइस चेयरमैन ने कि आज इंडिया लेवल का जो रियल एस्टेट एक्सपो यहाँ पर हो पाया है, तो ये हो पाया इन कुछ खास महानुभावों के कंट्रीब्यूशन, उनके सपोर्ट के द्वारा. तो आप सबकी मैं तालियां चाहूंगा जब मैं उनके बारे में बताऊं, बिकॉज दीज आर द पीपल हु मेड इट पॉसिबल कि दिस मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ प्रोग्राम वी कुड कंडक्ट. So first and foremost, I would like to talk about this company, which has already developed more than 150 acres of industrial land in Bangalore, with a vision of developing 300 acres in next 5 years. They have constructed 4 apartment complexes, 3 commercial complexes in Bangalore, and with a vision of constructing more than 250 apartments in the days to come. And today, ladies and gentlemen, on this expo, they will be launching 3 mega projects, which is Vaishno Devi Industrial Estate Phase 16, Industrial Estate Phase 18, and Vaishno Devi Nature View, a 6-acre BDA approved residential township on Kumbalgudu, Mysore Road. इनका एक यूएसपी है, they have found out the real thing कि like अगर इन्होंने just एक ही vision रखा कि okay, whatever we want to do, we want to do in the Mysore Road, and they have 4 fundamental USPs which they have. They say कि आपके पास अगर पैसा है तो उनके पास राह है. They help you in plot purchase, approval, construction and rental. So आपके पास पैसा है, just you go to them and they'll make sure that all your money is in the right place. We have with us the video of Vaishno Devi with us.
The awe-inspiring story of Vaishno Devi Estates. You would be surprised that the origins of this unbelievable story starts in the narrow bylanes of Nayandahalli industrial area. Shri Vimal Kataria, running a plastic industry from a dilapidated shed with pathetic infrastructure all around, was frustrated. Rampant pollution, unmotorable roads, no entry to large goods vehicles, erratic electricity due to weak transformers, poor water, sanitation and ventilation. Nothing was right, but there were no other options too. With a vision to provide well-developed plots to industrialists, Shri Vimal Kataria set up Vaishno Devi Estates and started with a small project of just 6 acres. Hailing from a humble background, Shri Vimal Kataria was a man of high ambition but little means. Developing a 6-acre layout with very little money was not an easy task. Fluctuating cash flow, negligent contractors, incompetent laborers, delayed government approvals, and a challenging landlord. In all these hardships, the rays of sunshine were the very first buyers. They stood firmly behind Shri Vimal Kataria and encouraged him.
उनकी प्रॉपर्टियों में अपने को रिटर्न अच्छा मिला है.
इतना अच्छा लेआउट लगा, मैंने आज तक कभी देखा नहीं ऐसा लेआउट.
काम जो चल रहा है, इतना अच्छा क्वालिटी से काम करा रहे हैं, वो हमको देख के प्रसन्नता हो रही है.
एकदम वेल मॉडर्न प्लान किया इंडस्ट्रियल इन्होंने.
सबसे बात तो है विमल के ऊपर ट्रस्ट करके अपने ले सकते हैं.
The efforts finally bore fruit, and Vaishno Devi Estates successfully completed its first industrial park in 1 year. The project was so well executed that the landlord himself offered double the land to develop the next phase. From then, there was no looking back. Investors and buyers of the plots have continued to repose their faith in Vaishno Devi Estates in all these years for the sheer punctuality and agility, trust and transparency, customer-centric approach, delivering more than expected, and philanthropy, eager to serve you again in the near future. Vaishno Devi Estates.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the founder and managing director of Vaishno Devi Group, Shriman Shah, Vimalji Kataria and family. And may I request, Sudhirji, may I request Adarniya Shriman Shah, Lehar Singh ji Siroya, Ashok ji Salecha, Inder ji Bohra, Shriman Shah DIlip ji Surana, Shriman Shah Praveen ji Shah और बिंदु जी रायसोनी, कृपया मंच पर पधारें. हम लोग 7 मिनट पीछे चल रहे हैं. Request the family of Shri Vimalji Kataria, Madhu ji, Chirag ji, also please accompany on the dais, and request the dignitaries please come on the dais for felicitating the main sponsor for today's program. देखिए अगर इंटरनेशनल लेवल का एक्सपो हो पाया है तो बिकॉज ऑफ दी स्पॉन्सर्स, तो एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाए हमारे स्पॉन्सर के लिए. और जब तक इनका फेलिसिटेशन चल रहा है यहाँ पे, मैं कुछ बताना भी चाहूंगा आपको विमल जी के बारे में कि नॉट ओनली इन जीतो, ही इज वेरी एक्टिव इन वेरियस अदर फोरम्स आल्सो. लाइक ही हैज बीन द नेशनल प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ तेरापंथ युवक परिषद, ट्रस्टी ऑफ आचार्य तुलसी महाप्रज्ञ विद्या विहार, ट्रस्टी ऑफ आचार्य तुलसी महाप्रज्ञ चेतना सेवा केंद्र, ट्रस्टी ऑफ इस्कॉन टेम्पल बैंगलोर, ट्रस्टी ऑफ अमृत धारा गौशाला बैंगलोर, ट्रस्टी ऑफ बैंगलोर महावीर आई हॉस्पिटल, एंड ही इज द एडमिन ऑफ कर्नाटका रीजन मराठा क्रेडिट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी. तो जब तक के लिए फेलिसिटेशन हो रहा है दोस्तों, मैं आपके इनके बारे में 2 बात बताना चाहूंगा कि ही इज द गिनीज वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड होल्डर फॉर अकम्प्लिशिंग द हाईएस्ट नंबर ऑफ फ्री आई टेस्ट अक्रॉस इंडिया. तो इनके पास गिनीज वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड है. तो एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाए विमल जी के लिए, उसके लिए. और एक ही नहीं, 2 रिकॉर्ड है उनके पास गिनीज वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड. द फर्स्ट वन वाज आई टेस्ट एंड सेकंड वन वाज ही आल्सो वाज द नेशनल कोऑर्डिनेटर फॉर द मेगा ब्लड डोनेशन कैंप, जहां पे 87,000 से ज्यादा ब्लड डोनेशन एक दिन में हुआ था, और उसको भी इनको गिनीज वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड में इनका नाम दर्ज हुआ है. तो जोरदार तालियां हो जाए हमारे आज के स्पॉन्सर श्रीमान साहब विमल जी कटारिया एंड फैमिली. एंड we can have a light music also going on as the felicitation is going on. And may I request the next Thank you so much, Shriman Shah, Vimalji Kataria and family. Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, we have a very dynamic gentleman, I would say the whole group, which has created its niche in India, what we say, Bangalore and Karnataka real estate market. And their company simply says, Dosto, I'll just take hardly 30 seconds, but this is very important that we give the due respect to all our sponsors. They say elevating lives one creation at a time. With rich history of transforming spaces and life close to a decade, SNN Properties LLP is elevating the future of work, life and business through modern design, construction, which fits every lifestyle and budget. So without ado, may I request the founder, chairman and managing director of SNN Builders, Shriman Shah Sanjay Ji Lunkad and his family to please come on the stage. And as he comes, I'll talk more about him to save the time. But may I request Sudhir Ji to please request the dignitaries to come.
Thank you, Dilip bhai. I would request Shri Rajendra Ji Chajet to please come on the dais to felicitate the sponsors. Shri Rajendra Ji Gandhi, please come forward to felicitate the sponsors. And Vinod Ji Jain, Vinod Ji Rathod, please come forward on the dais. Shri Ajay Ji Mutta and Shri Subhaji Kivesra to please come on the dais.
We'll play the video of the felicitation. As the felicitation is going on, ladies and gentlemen, let me just talk about a little bit about SNN also. May we have the felicitation? देवियर सज्जनों, अगर SNN बिल्डर्स की बात करें तो इनके नामों सैकड़ों अवार्ड्स हैं. बेस्ट लग्जरी प्रोजेक्ट फ्रॉम various what we say organizations. Common Floor Real Estate Excellence Awards by Bangalore, Best Developer of the Year, Award for Excellence in Real Estate Singapore, and Silicon India Real Estate Award, Hindustan Ratna Real Estate Award from New Delhi as the best project, the Rising Leadership in Goa, and many more. A very dynamic person, a humble man. Thank you so much, dignitaries. Indeed. बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद श्रीमान सा संजय जी and the whole SNN group for providing. And we have the video of SNN group here. Quick 1-minute video. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Moving forward, we have one more co-sponsorer for this whole event. And इनके बारे में मैं क्या कहूँ? They have a legacy spanning over last 4 decades, having their real estate business in Bangalore, Solapur, Pune, Vijaypur, and Melbourne, Australia. 70 projects, 10,000 happy customers, and 6.75 million square feet delivered. So may I request the AV of Swamitva Group to be played here on the stage, please. We have the AV? Okay, the AV is coming in. और दोस्तों आपसे निवेदन करूंगा अगले 30 सेकंड we'll just see all the AV, and these are the people who made it possible that we are able to execute such a wonderful real estate expo here. So we have Swamitva Group. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I would request all of you to please visit the Swamitva stall which is there in the expo, and you can get details about all these properties which are there. So may I request the Chairman and Managing Director of Swamitva Group and Shriman Sah, Mahaveerji, Shankarlalji, Mehta and whole family of Swamitva Group who are present here to please come on the dais. And may I request Sudhirji to please announce the dignitaries who will be felicitating them. Shriman Sah, Sudhirji.
Thank you, Dilip bhai. I would request Shri Bhaskar Nagendrappa, the President, Credit, Bangalore President for Credit, to please come forward on the dais to felicitate our sponsors. I would request Shripalji Khivesra to please come forward on the dais. I would request Narendraji Samar to please come forward on the dais. I would request Siddharji Bohra and Shri Vikramji Karbawala, JITF Vice Chairman, to please come forward on the dais. I would request our Chief Guest, Lehar Singh Ji Sir, to please come forward on the dais to felicitate our sponsor.
So ladies and gentlemen, here we have a mighty Swamitva group. आप देख सकते हैं, the huge family which is into this real estate business, definitely headed by the able leadership and the next generation which is standing here in front of you. So बहुत बधाई Swamitva group. And जब तक ये felicitation हो रहा है, इनके बहुत सारे projects चल रहे हैं. And as I said, they have operations not only in Bangalore but Bijapur, Solapur, Melbourne, Australia, and various places. So congratulations, Swamitva, and thank you so much from KKG and JITO Bangalore North for being part of this expo and helping us through your sponsorship. Indeed, कभी मौका मिलेगा तो महावीर जी के बारे में और भी बहुत बताऊंगा कि he is not only active in JITO but in various other forums. He has been the governor in Rotary. He has been a GSC member also who has traveled to USA as a part of the team, and was the president of Credai Vijapur, and so many other accolades which are there to his name. So thank you so much, Swamitva Group, for being here and sponsoring this event. Moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more, I would not say last, but the lasting sponsor or the co-sponsor for this whole expo. And इनके बारे में बताने से पहले मैं सबसे पहले याद करना चाहूँगा, लेट देवियर सजनो, जस्ट 1 मिनट लगेगा. लास्ट स्पॉन्सर है हमारे. विदाउट we'll give full respect to all our sponsors, so may I request your attention just for a minute please. Okay, so उनके बारे में बोलने से पहले मैं सबसे पहले याद करना चाहूँगा श्रीमान सा रमन लाल जी जैन, जो कि फाउंडर चेयरमैन थे इस organization के, and he has been also the Shraman Arogyam trustee from Bangalore, और वो थे पारसमणि तीर्थ अडोनी के सेक्रेटरी. So देवियर सजना आपके सामने प्रस्तुत करने जा रहा हूँ the final sponsor for this real estate expo, RRBC Group, which is one of the leading high-end residential and commercial developer in Bangalore with 15 years of experience in real estate. So may I request the whole family of RR Group, please come forward and I'll talk about you as we move. Shriman Sir Ranjit Ji, Shah and the whole family, and if we have the video, we'll play the video first until they come, and then we'll request the dignitaries to please come forward.
FM, iconic address of the first families of Bangalore. Located in the heart of the Silicon Valley of India, are Bangalore. Amidst the golden charm of Jainagar, boasting of the finest neighborhood in the city. Manikchand 117 FF is the rightful home for every individual and every generation of the first families. Manikchand 117 FF has been selected for the Golden Certificate by the Indian Green Building Council due to the green initiatives. Standing G+25 floors tall Manikchand 117 FF makes the statement of its iconic grandeur in the skies of Jainagar 7th block. Like exteriors, like interiors, contemporary, classy and swanky facade is just the tip of the iceberg. For those who dream big and aim high, Manikchand 117 FF comes with the most iconic elevation to match their iconic success. Like lifestyle, like amenities, Manikchand 117 FF is your world within the world. Iconic features make it a true iconic home. Jogging track to maintain and replenish the fitness of the first families. Kids play area to keep the kids charming and active. Manikchand 117 FF is not only about living a grand life, but also about experiencing the same. A 5-star central reception zone gives you the perfect glimpse of the iconic living. Perfectly designed lobbies to assure healthy and bright living, gifting you unmatched privacy. Enter the presidential suite.
So may I request Sudhir ji, Gadia, please come on the dais and request the dignitaries. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the...
May I request Shri Ashok ji Salecha to please come forward on the dais. Shri Paras ji Bandari, Shri Ashok ji Nagori, Shri Hitesh ji Palrecha, Shri Sanjay ji Setia, Shri Vijay ji Singhvi to please come forward on the dais to felicitate our sponsors.
Thank you so much, Sudhir ji. And just to talk, indeed you have seen the video of Manikchand 117. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure this is one of the iconic building. Huh? May I request Sudhir ji also please join, indeed the Chief Secretary of JITO North, and indeed I can accompany you also as the Chief Secretary of... They were such, these were the 4 sponsors who made sure that this Real Estate Expo goes in a style. And so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. This has been a great pleasure. And before me signing off, आपको 4 लाइन बोलना चाहूँगा कि मंजिलें उन्हीं को मिलती है जिनके सपनों में जान होती है. मंजिलें उन्हीं को मिलती है जिनके सपनों में जान होती है. पंख से कुछ नहीं होता, हौसलों से उड़ान होती है. और आज तारीफ करना चाहेंगे जितो बैंगलोर नॉर्थ के इन हौसलों का, जिन्होंने ऐसा कुछ कर दिखाया कि फर्स्ट टाइम इन द जितो हिस्ट्री ऑफ लास्ट 12 years they have created this world class mega real estate expo. So wishing all the very best from JITO KKG zone as the Chief Secretary of JITO KKG. All the very best to the JITO Bangalore North, and signing off from here. Thank you so much for all the opportunities. Over to you, Sudhir ji.
Thank you, Dilip bhai. That was wonderful. हमने जिटो बैंगलोर नॉर्थ चैप्टर की तरफ से अक्टूबर 1 तारीख को हमने अपना रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ जो है चैप्टर की तरफ से संभाला था, और अभी अक्टूबर 1 तारीख से हम लोगों ने जो एक्टिविटीज़ की है वो एक 2 मिनट का वीडियो होगा. आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट ऑल डिग्नेटरीज टू स्टे अपॉन टू जस्ट हैव ए ग्लिम्स ऑन व्हाट ऑल एक्टिविटीज़ वी हैव बीन कंडक्टिंग. आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट नितिन जी टू प्लीज प्ले द वीडियो. these are glimpses of all the Real Estate Expo event that we conducted. And I would request Praveen ji Shah, our Vice Chairman, to please come forward and recognize all the participants.
जय जिनेंद्र, लिखा तो बहुत कुछ था, but I think for the paucity of time, मैं कट शॉर्ट कर रहा हूँ. And first I would welcome all the dignitaries and our JITO members to this one of its kind JITO Real Estate event. ये आइडिया ऐसे लगा कि हम एक सेगमेंट के अंदर जब करेंगे काम, तो अपना जो ऑडियंस आएगा, एग्जिबिटर आएंगे, उनका फोकस रहेगा कि वो क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या देख रहे हैं. इसीलिए हमने ये आइडिया से आए कि हम एक सेगमेंट वाइज, इंडस्ट्री वाइज एक्सपो करेंगे. हमारे ट्रेड फेयर्स जो होते हैं, मल्टीपल आइटम रहती है, मल्टीपल इंडस्ट्री रहती है, लोग काफ़ी आते हैं, लेकिन एंड ऑफ द डे टेक होम क्या होता है, लिमिटेड रहता है. इस इंडस्ट्री एक्सपो के हिसाब से क्या होगा, उनको हमारा स्पीकर कॉन्क्लेव जो रहते हैं वो भी इंडस्ट्री रिलेटेड टॉपिक्स पे बात कर रहे हैं, और अपना जो एक्सपो है और विजिटर्स जो आ रहे हैं उनको मालूम है कि यहाँ क्यों आना है और क्या लेना है. सो इट इज़ अ स्पेसिफिक इंडस्ट्री रिलेटेड एक्सपो. आगे जाके हम लोग डिफरेंट इंडस्ट्रीज में ऐसे काम करते जाएंगे. डेफिनेटली हमारे स्पॉन्सर्स के बिना ये इवेंट हो नहीं सकता था. I would recognize all the sponsors, Vaishno Devi Group, Swamitva Group, SNN Raj Group, RR Buildcon, for giving us strength in this event. अपनी टीम जो अपनी MC टीम है और अपने जो चैम्पियंस बैठे हैं जो आप आज देख रहे हैं, यहाँ तो सिर्फ एक 20% बोलूँगा, 80% पीछे है. जो अपने जितने एक्सपोज के लिए स्पॉन्सर्स लाए हैं और एग्जिबिटर्स लाए हैं, अपने काफ़ी रेप्यूटेड ब्रांड्स आज बैंगलोर के यहाँ पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं. अपने डेवलपर्स जो जैन डेवलपर्स आज उनके साथ खड़ के उनका ब्रांड वहाँ पे शोकेस कर रहे हैं. एक लिवरेज है उनके लिए, अपना ब्रांड रिकग्नाइज करने के लिए, उनके साथ जुड़ने के लिए, उनके लिए रिकग्निशन है. ये प्लेटफॉर्म हम लोगों ने क्रिएट किया है. ऐसे ही हम काफ़ी प्रोग्राम्स लेके आएंगे. आई वुड नाउ लाइक टू रिकग्नाइज माई टीम एंड आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट my team members along with MC team to join us on stage, and I would require everyone to give a good round of applause for the whole team who has worked tirelessly on this. Please join us. Nirmal ji, Praveen ji, Pritesh, Pankaj ji, everyone, Vikas, Mukesh ji, everyone join us along with the MC team. MC team, Rajesh ji, please. Om ji, kahan hai Om ji? Please. I want all the MC team here, along with our champions who have made it possible. They have worked very hard on this, and we need a good round of applause for all the team members. Chairman sir, please. अपने KK जी, अशोक भाई. Kamal bhai, please join us. All MC members, please join us. If I have left any name, please, because DIlip bhai, आइए. Nitin, Siddharth. This is the last photo session of our team for this expo team, right? Thank you everyone for giving this amazing show. I would say hats off to you guys. I think now we start with our
Now I would hand over to our next session, the Conclave, Real Estate Expo Conclave, to Sunil ji and team. Thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone, and apologies for the slight delay in starting this first session. Buy land, they're not making it anymore, said Samuel Langholm Charles, popularly known by his pen name Mark Twain. Real estate, ladies and gentlemen, is the second largest job creator in India after agriculture, currently contributes about 77% of our GDP. We are today about 400 million households, which will go up to about 590 million households over the next 10 odd years. And this, in turn, would lead to a lot of evolution in the real estate spectrum across the asset classes, which is commercial, residential, real estate. Millennials are looking at, asset-light living. So I request the people, I think there is an expo inauguration, request other people to please come ahead. Just to start, the first keynote address, we have Mr. M. Murali from SHRIRAM Properties here. Murali is an alumnus of the Harvard Business School, chairman and managing director of SHRIRAM Properties. In his advisory capacity, he's involved with managing the non-financial services of the SHRIRAM Group as well. Which includes infrastructure, project development, engineering services, power and generation, and information technology businesses. As an upstanding member of the society, he is also involved in several social welfare initiatives, such as running a Goshala, promoting Hinduism through Veda Padashala in Chennai. He runs a free school for the poor in Pottukadai, Tamil Nadu. Murali, who was born in Pottukadai in a teacher's family, has embarked. He's a civil engineer, subsequently worked with L&T High Tech City, and then his talent caught the attention of Mr. R. Tyagarajan, whom he joined hands with to set up SHRIRAM Properties in 1997. SHRIRAM Properties today stands for healthy cash reserves and marginal debt. In Murali's view, the business has been growing, and his objective is subservient to the ideal of SHRIRAM Properties to be recognized as the most trusted and honest property developer in the industry. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, I think we are taking him for inauguration, and then we'll probably come back for this. So we'll just hold this. Okay. So we'll take him for inauguration, and then probably we'll come back to this. Sorry, I think there's a slight change in the... I request everyone to join for the inauguration, and then we'll probably come back here.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning से good afternoon हो चुकी है. हम अभी तक अपने keynote speakers पे नहीं पहुंचे हैं. Requesting all of you to please settle down. जल्दी से बैठ जाइए ताकि we can start the most awaited keynote session. जो पीछे खड़े हैं, requesting all of you to please settle down. अब जो speaker आपके सामने आ रहे हैं, आपको actually बहुत ज़्यादा influence करने वाले हैं because his thoughts are thought-provoking. An alumnus of Harvard Business School, Mr. Murali is the chairman and managing director of SHRIRAM Properties. He is also involved in managing the non-financial services of SHRIRAM Group, such as infrastructure, project development, engineering services, power generation, and information technology business. An upstanding member of his society, he is involved in several social welfare initiatives, such as running a Goshala, towards promoting Hinduism, maintaining a free Veda Pathshala in Chennai, and runs a free school for poor children in Tamil Nadu. Mr. Murali is of the age 28 in 1997. He took over the reins of SHRIRAM Properties. This man deserves a loud round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, because he's coming here to give you a very, very interesting keynote session.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I know there is some kind of a chaotic situation. This is typical India. And this community owed to India's growth all along. I understand this is the oldest organized religion. This community is the oldest organized religion, tracking back to 8,000-year-old is what they're saying. So, which means no, this community was responsible for building what Bharat was. And also today, we can take a lot of pride that India is the greatest civilization and largest democracy and most entrepreneurial, all that, which means this community played a very, very key role in building what it was. But unfortunate truth is, today, India is the most unorganized. Despite all the strengths what we have today, still we are not the largest economy in the world. We are struggling to become the largest economy in the world. Still, we are claiming to be fourth or fifth largest economy, which we could have easily been the number one despite all the chaotic situations around the world. Because what we can do, nobody else in the world can do. But is it possible to do it? We have a right example here, how the chaotic mindset we are. With this chaotic mindset, I don't think we will reach anywhere. It's a hard truth. We need to accept this reality, whether we like it or not. Unless we do this, it will be very difficult. But I must also congratulate this community of setting standards on several things. Live and let live. I don't think any other community started preaching that as the primary objective in their life. So this community set the trend for live and let live. So other communities are all following it up. And not only that, maybe Gandhiji got inspiration of non-violence from this community. So before that, India has been fighting, all over the world. People have been fighting with each other in the last about 400, 500 years for their own small little kingdoms. But when so much chaotic things were there, even much before that, this community, started preaching non-violence, ahimsa. So congratulations to this community, which not only practiced and taught this world what is non-violence and what is honesty and also compassion. Also this community, there are a lot of learning for me. I've been going through a lot of friends from this community. The kind of learning, right faith, right conduct, ahimsa. These three were inculcated at a very young stage in life. So that made a big difference for the people to become what they become. So these are all the greatness of this community, what they taught to this world. I was recalling, as when Sunil and Praveen, they told me that we should start on time and please be there on time and 10:45 so that 11 o'clock we'll start. When I came in also, they said, we will start at least 5 minutes in advance. I was very happy. But suddenly, this is community, which is highly entrepreneurial in nature. Very, very entrepreneurial in nature. Probably entrepreneurship, the basic rules in India was established by this community. Much later, Chettiar community or Gujaratis and all that. So I was very, very proud. The greatest quality of entrepreneur is always self-centric, self-glorification. Probably some change we need to bring in, some Western, we need to understand how the Western countries, they have got a history of only 200 or 300 years, particularly America. And some of the other Western countries, German and France, Italy and all that, they may have slightly more number of experience compared to India, but nothing can beat India. But with all that, the growth what they have achieved, something phenomenal. So despite entrepreneurship qualities coming from India, we have not been able to achieve what the Western countries achieved. Maybe some learning I think we need to bring for ourselves. How do we become very, very organized? One such example is the real estate. I was recalling 2016. There was a real estate convention which happens every year. CREDAI, NAREDCO, not NAREDCO does, separate, CREDAI does separate. CREDAI had this convention, I think in 2016 in Moscow. There were a large number of people assembled, close to about 1,800 people, families, plus families, were there in Moscow. This government of India, under Narendra Modi, came in 2014, and they were looking at reforming all the industries, particularly on the real estate industry and construction industry, which is a pet subject to Prime Minister, because he believed, this is my assumption, he believed this industry has to be streamlined. Just before our convention in Moscow, there was an Independence Day speech where Prime Minister talked about real estate and construction industry. He made a small remark. But in his top of his mind, he made a remark about real estate and construction industry. I had interactions with quite a lot of people thereafter. Something told me that something serious is going to be done in this country for real estate and construction. In Moscow again, I was one of the speakers, one of the session, not the keynote. So I saw 1,800 people in the ballroom. In that meeting, I mentioned something, stuck to me. I'm very happy to see these 1,800 people here assembled in this ballroom. But I am worried. Sooner, CREDAI convention can happen in boardroom, not anymore in ballroom. This is what I mentioned. Because developers were not organized. Developers were not disciplined. Real estate developers did whatever they thought. It is not collective. If collectively, if they have done whatever they wanted to do it, they could have created much bigger successful thing. But collectively, we have not done that. It's all self-glorification, self-centric, which created a very, very chaotic situation. I should not have said this, unfortunately, in that convention. I thought it could take about 7 to 10 years for this consolidation to happen. But it's a pack of cards. When bad happens, it happens much faster compared to good happens. Good, you need to build over a period of time. Bad, it can happen like this. So 3 years' time, we had the complete consolidation. Today, in real estate, not more than 40-50 developers in the country matters. So I'll come to real estate. That's the topic which has been given to me by Sunil Jain and Praveen to talk about it. I'll come to this. So I'm seeing a lot of similarity. If we do not address that, where can we head? Where can we, heading towards? That's one most critical one. Life always looks better today. Life always looks better for the future. But if we do not reach the destination, what we are looking at, no point. So let's just look at what is a macro level situation today. Opportunity has been there all over the world. So particularly COVID has cemented quite a lot of things in the last 2 years' time. I was invited by Government of India during COVID, peak COVID, a few times to discuss some of the matters like how do we bring industries from China to India. So I went there during peak of COVID to discuss. We had about 2 days discussions on what all required to be done. So there was a target which was set for bringing at least about 850 identified people to be brought into India for snatching the manufacturing. And there was a big challenge China was going through. China was accused of bringing COVID to this world. or introducing COVID to this world or spreading COVID to this world, a lot of countries were moving or planning to move away, whether it is Japan or German or France or United States. So China was supplying close to about 42% to the world, whatever need. So India, if at all, we snatched away 5% of what China has been producing to this world, we could have achieved 5 trillion economy by 2023. Unfortunately, we are not there now. Just 5%. May not be a big deal. Out of whatever China was exporting to the world, if we have snatched away 5%, which was the easier one. Why we have not done that? We are not organized. Why we have not done that? There is no determination to get what we want. Why we have not done that? We are a self-centric society, which is not a good thing for the overall country's growth. Country is nothing but a larger family. It is not one individual. It's a family which has to grow. Then only, we also grow. If the community does better, we also do better. It's not alone we can be successful forever. It's not possible. It's only a question of time, we'll move away. So globally, things are looking very, very good for India. United States have got their own political challenges. Germany has got their own, after about 20 years of stable government, they are going through some instability. France, they are going through some instability. Some of the other European countries are going through instability. There is no faith in China, basically, for the rest of the world. And Japan, in 2023, somebody from Harvard Business School predicted 5 major things to watch in 2023. One of the 5 is that global recession can be led by Japan. So that's the situation today. Very, very unfortunate. Out of 5, one is India, which they are talking about largest population. India will be the contributor to the largest population in 2023 to 2030. So we'll become the largest populated country in the world. China will become number 2 in the next 5 years' time. This is the 2023 prediction, but Japan can potentially lead the recession for the global recession in 23. So across the world, all the countries, major countries, where superpowers some time ago are not doing good. This is a moment for India. So that's at the macro level. It's a great moment for India, provided we snatch it. Unfortunately, we have not been able to do it, whatever the reasons. And that can be fixed, provided we fix ourselves. Now, coming into real estate, what could happen for real estate in this country? Again, consolidation is one, I said. Real estate, people think it's very complicated. It is not very complicated. It's a simple one in India. 10 cities matters in India. If you look at India, in south it's Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. In west it is Bombay and Pune and Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad, the recent addition now. Earlier I was only talking about 9 cities. Now I would say 10 cities. Ahmedabad has made tremendous progress in getting into this space. On eastern part, just Calcutta. In north, it's NCR, Noida, Gurgaon, and Delhi. These 10 cities matters for real estate. If India absorbs X million square feet of space, 80% comes from this just 10 cities. Remaining 20%, various other small towns, whether it is Mangalore or Hubli or Dharwad or Mysore or Coimbatore or Cochin or Nagpur or Nasik. All the smaller cities contribute just less than 20%. 82% comes out of these 10 cities. So if one has to have a dominant position, if they focus on these 10 cities, and growth, all the 10 cities provide tremendous growth opportunity. If somebody wants to grow 100% year on year, they can grow. If somebody wants to grow 200% year on year, they can grow. Whether they want to do it, whether they can do it is a separate issue. But the space is open for the people to reach that scale. That's opportunity. Again, currently the trend is office, retail, warehousing, housing. This is the current trend now, but I'll also address what all the changes, what I perceive in the next 10 years' time to happen. So again on the housing, mid-market, affordable housing. Again, out of the overall supply, 80% comes from mid-market and affordable housing. So in the pyramid, if you look at, luxury is about 5%, economic section demand is about 40-45%, in between is mid-market and affordable. There is a constant demand. 80% growth happens, 80% demand happens in this segment. Whereas economically weaker section, supply is practically zero or 0.002% on economically weaker section. It is not attractive, lucrative for private entrepreneurs to look at that. It is not highly incentivized unless government does something to highly incentivize that section. It will be underserved all the time. Anyway, it is not the people sitting here, their problem, it is government's problem. Government has to address that, then only they can address. Otherwise, housing for all. Prime Minister's mission is a noble mission. If housing for all is achieved, India could achieve 10 trillion economy easier. If at all, one agenda, housing for all, if that is achieved, India will soon reach 10 trillion economy. Not 5 trillion, we need not struggle. But unfortunately, a lot of things to be done. Me and Bhaskar were discussing what all required to be done for the forthcoming budget. Even, 10% of which is done, it can lead to take the 10 trillion economy sooner. So this is where we are now. But unfortunately, this is one industry again. It's a learning, this is the only industry, real estate is the only industry. 4 pillars, judiciary, media, bureaucracy, political. These 4 pillars with which the Indian Constitution was built, India has been behaving, these 4 pillars are driving the India's growth for the last 70 years or 72 years. 5th pillar, I'll come to it. But this is the only industry very well connected to these 4 pillars. Every bureaucrat is a home buyer. Every politician is a home buyer. Every person in the judiciary is a home buyer. Every person in the media is a home buyer. You know which is the most criticized industry by all these 4? It's real estate. Which means you love all your family, you love your wife, you love your parents, you love your children, you love your neighbor. But all the 4 treat you very bad. All the 4 keep on criticizing you are a bad fellow. All the 4 keep on saying that you are useless. All the 4 they are saying you do so much work morning to evening and go back home and say that this is what you have done. And this is because of that all the 4 are living happily in their shelter, but all the 4 say you are a crook. All the 4 say you are a criminal. All the 4 they say you are you do all wrong things. If one says or 2 says, there must be some faults in it. But all the 4 says there must be some truth in this, or there is some perception which is created by us. So that's the most important one. So today's world, social media world, just not the truth. It's a perception, which is about 80%. Truth is 20%. So perception also has to be made right, which is very, very important. It's just not me being alone. Perception also has to be right. Unless the perception is set right, even if you are the, Mahatma, or even if you are Mahaveer, I think Mahaveer will be a failure today's world. Because if he has failed a perception wrong, even if it is a truthful, people will not accept. People will ask evidence. How did you create how you are truthful? This is the unfortunate reality today, and social media is playing all wrong things. And I will not blame anybody outsider. If at all there is somebody to be blamed for anybody's growth or debacle, it is that person only to be blamed. So particularly when you are connected to these 4 pillars, very, very deeply rooted, again, it's just not the individual developer, the industry body. Industry body, I'm sure Bhaskar has been working very hard to make things perfect, but he has assumed last 70-year-old legacy, which had a lot of cancer. So he can do only, again, Prime Minister has been trying very hard to get things back on track. But 70 years old legacy, or last 300-year-old culture, or which is deeply rooted into our DNA, it's difficult to change overnight. So again, coming back to this, unless we address as a unit together, we'll not reach where we want to reach. But if you look at opportunities for the next 10 years, India is the place. You don't need to go overseas. If at all you want to go overseas, still some of the educational institutions, other than Jain institutions here in India, are not that great today. Jain institutions in India are providing fantastic support, the kind of contribution what they are making to uplift. It's just not, the super rich or super intelligent. Making sure that even the bottommost guy are uplifted. So we need about next 30 years. So balanced society we need to create. It's just not the super intelligent or super rich. Unless we uplift people below, which is done by our institutions in India, some of the institutions in India, not all the institutions. But if you want to go overseas, study and come back, India is the place for next 20 to 30 years, not other places. In fact, other places can become more unsafe, including, for example, France. They are saying it is becoming an Islamic nation much faster than what is anticipated. Likewise, that can have a bigger impact on Europe. So India is the place. Next 30 years, India is the place. We don't need to worry about anything other than India. But 10 years, what all the changes could happen in real estate trends? So other than this usual housing or office or retail. So one area what I feel which we have not made a major progress is the prop tech. So prop tech coming in now. For example, India, we have taken close to about 30-40 years time to change from your clay bricks to hollow blocks to concrete blocks to today concrete walls. It has taken close to about 30 years for us to change. But today's change is much, much faster. People adopt to the changes much faster than what we were about 30 years ago or 20 years ago. Hence, the changes also can happen much faster in this industry. So one area is the technology. Technology has not played any big role in real estate so far, other than particularly concrete wall, the Maiwan and all that. But other than that, not much changes have taken place. So I see anything on tech, I would say that could be the game changer. Again, the fractional ownership on the financial services. A lot of things are happening now which is unlawful now. But I'm sure more and more people do unlawful things, it will become a law. So sooner, government will work out and make sure that all these things become law. So fractional ownership can be a reality sooner. REIT has been happening for the last 50 years in this country. 100 years has been happening, particularly the community from your group. I saw, whether Chennai or Calcutta, where we have business. So the community network is, one small slip. And second is faith, nothing else. That is nothing but even an organized REIT. So organized within your own self, which government has formalized now recently in the process. But you have been doing this fractional ownership for quite some time. Maybe last 20, 30 years you have been doing fractional ownership in a very organized way amongst your community. Government will formalize. So a lot of things, do not worry about what you have been doing it, but push for government to formalize. At the end of the day, the government stamp is very important, without which it will not be possible to get things done. So PropTech is one area, fractional ownership is another area. Rental housing is another one, which I anticipated, but for COVID, rental housing would have become a great reality by this time. COVID brought back people to the basics. So then again, they started buying homes and gold and all that. Otherwise, in 2016, 17, if you map the mind of people, they were moving away from owning homes. They were all moving into rental housing, including some, probably not so good for the culture, live-in relationships. Bangalore and Delhi Bangalore was number one. Delhi was number two in providing homes for live-in relationship. So it was estimated in 2017, close to about 30,000 homes in Bangalore were provided for live-in relationship. I'm not saying what is wrong or right in culturally it may not be right, but business opportunity. Business opportunity, if you can provide homes for that, it was a big deal. People are not willing to own home. But COVID brought them back to reality. Hence, they started looking at buying homes once again. So, but soon it'll go back. So rental housing is another major opportunity. Again, fractional ownership on housing is another major opportunity. And anything on technology, for example, today, energy saving. I mean, that is going to be the next major game changer today. Energy saving will be one major area to address. CCTV, which was the old fashioned today, more and more. Nowadays, I mean, you've got a lot of cyber crime which is taking place now. So how do you protect your home? And also, how do you get everything through internet in the home? So on the tech field, I see a major change which is happening. So next 10 years, we will see lots of changes and lots of aggregators will come in. And also the industrial units, I saw his development. It's a fabulous development on industrial units, something very, very good. I think that's another area which will become very, very prominent. So industrial area, I mean, do not sell, just hold on. Because 20 years down the line, that will become the CBD. So when we launched a project, first time somebody launched a project in Whitefield. When Whitefield, people are finding it difficult to go to Whitefield. And they were all worried. I'm not talking about 70 years ago, just 2002, 2003. And people are hesitant to travel beyond 6 o'clock in the evening because of daylight robbery and unsafe. 2002, 2003. We went and bought, Food Corporation Godown. It's about 5-acre land opposite to Brookbond. And we launched the project and people said, why are you going there all the way to Whitefield to launch the project? We are the first one to launch the project in Whitefield. We launched at 1,050 rupees a square feet. We bought the land at 160 rupees a square feet FSI. But nobody was willing to come in. Food Corporation Godown, which was there. So title was clear. Somebody was, maintained very well. So that became a super housing complex called SHRIRAM Spurti today. So warehousing, whatever you do, don't think that you should capitalize and move on. Hold on for 10 years or 15 years because the cities which are growing today much faster than what it was, though Bangalore has chosen not to grow organized way for the last several years, but other cities have been growing a little more organized way. Some of the cities, Ahmedabad is growing organized way, Hyderabad is growing. So some of the other cities, by choice, they did not want to do that. So one such city is Bangalore. So warehousing, if you hold on to the asset, 10 years down the line, it could become a super real estate asset. You can do something very different. So value creation can be much, much bigger. Again, industrial sites. So these are all the opportunities which are there. So next 10 years, prop tech, new age business on real estate. Anything you try, out of 100, 10 will succeed, 90 will fail. Doesn't matter. So, but overall, things could be very, very different. And next 30 years, India is the place. So if India is the place, there's a bigger opportunity for all of us to do something very, very big. And anybody wants to grow, today I saw some in the exhibition, who were there or who are the people who are here to make progress. You can make 10 times growth in the next 2 years' time, 3 years' time. That's the opportunity. Unfortunately, we have got a fantastic government at the central. They mean business and they mean growth. They are doing a lot of activities to make sure that balancing happens. That's very, very important. I recall, those days, Bombay Old Airport was there. At the time, New Airport was not there. I'm sure you're all familiar. A lot of you have been traveling a lot. When you come to Bombay Airport, Old Airport, at the turning junction, you could see a lot of vehicles will be lined up. You will spend at least about 5 to 10 minutes just to take that signal. A lot of people will knock at your door, car glass door, and ask for money. So this has been the scene in Bombay Airport, just before the Bombay Airport. There was an article in Indian Express several years ago. You watch the sound of the knock on the window, your glass window. The knock is becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. It's just a question of time. The gap between the person sitting inside and outside can be zero. So that is one area we need to address, which your community have been addressing to uplift the overall section of the society. But one community alone cannot uplift the entire nation. Fortunately, our government in Delhi have been doing fantastic job in uplifting overall one. It will take time. It will take another 10 years or 15 years to have some kind of a balanced society. Until then, we have to wait. Then affluence will start and people will start buying and all that in a big time. But together, all of us have to get this right. I think your community has been playing a very, very lead role in making sure that you are holding hands with the Government of India to uplift. Again, it's not one individual can uplift. Again, we talked about very favorite topic. I made a pitch to Government of India recently on how soon we can reach 5 trillion economy. I made a proposition, let us drop 5 trillion economy, let us say we set a 10 trillion economy by 2030. See, this is what I set I made a pitch. But only thing we need to understand, it is not Government of India can do it. It's like a cricket team. All the 11 players have to score runs. If you need to score 300 runs or 400 runs, all the 11 players have to score. Maybe opening batsman has to score 100 runs, then next batsman has to score 70, or tailender also, if he has to play the match, he has to also score 10 runs or 15 runs, whatever the shortfall to make this 400 runs or 300 runs in the scoreboard. India is a federal nation. They can only set the mission, they can only give the inspiration. These 30 states have to contribute to 5 trillion or 10 trillion economy. Today, 6 states out of 30 states, 30 or 29, I don't know how many states, or 31. So 30 is it? 30. Out of these 30 states, just 6 states contribute 52% of the GDP in this country, which is Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Maharashtra, UP. The sixth name probably will miss. West Bengal. These 6 states contribute 52% of the GDP to the country today. Now, if at all we need to make 10 trillion economy, these 6 states have to perform. They are opening batsmen. They are specialized batsmen, or they are specialized bowlers. They need to do something better than other batsmen. They cannot be playing, like a 8th down batsman or 7th down batsman, they cannot be playing. So these 6 states have to play a very, very different role. Or the 6 states have to grow. Let us say I divided into 3 categories. There is a category A, there is a category B, then category C. For example, category C, you put Jharkhand and Bihar and Madhya Pradesh also unfortunately went into category C in my estimate. So category C and category B in between. So Telangana maybe in category B. You cannot expect the 8th down batsman to score a century. It can be by accident sometimes, but he cannot keep producing the results match after match after match. Whereas the 6 people in the top batsman can produce the results. So unless the 6 states grow at 15 to 20%, which there is a potential. If Karnataka want to grow, they can grow easily 15% year on year. Whether there is a will, whether there is a determination, whether there is a, in-depth for them to do it, that's a separate subject. But as a state, it provides opportunity. It provides a platform. Tamil Nadu, it provides a platform. Gujarat provides a platform. Those 6 states contribute much higher growth. So that even let us say, C category, even if they grow by 30% has no meaning. They need to grow. That's one side. But they need to grow 30% year on year or 25% year on year for the next 10 years to come into category A. Then only, even if they do 5% growth, it makes meaningful sense. Otherwise, for example, even West Bengal, they are in category A, they are growing about 12 to 15% year on year. But they need to have the consistency for the next 10 years to reach a much higher level. Then only it makes meaningful impact over GDP. If at all you look at a 10 trillion GDP, so this is how the states are divided. Hence, Bangalore, again, he wanted me to address Bangalore growth. Bangalore has got a tremendous potential, despite, again, Prime Minister talked about in 2014 speech, minimum governance and maximum, maximum one? Deliverables. Minimum governance and minimum government, maximum deliverables. So this is what, I mean, he talked about. So Bangalore has got a minimum governance, maximum deliverables. So that's a greatest opportunity. So wherever you reduce the governance, I think growth will be much, much faster. So opportunity is good. Wish you all the very best for this event, and I'm sure you will all contribute to India's growth much, much bigger way than what you have done in the last few years. Wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Mr. Murali, for such an insightful session. I'm sure all of you have gained a lot of expertise and the perception that he has about India and contributing to the real estate. Can I please request Mr. Sunil Ji Jain, Mahaveer Ji Mehta, and Mukesh Ji Sunana to please step up on the dais for felicitation. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember we have the next decade in real estate. That is the next session, which is going to be moderated by Mr. ASHWINDER Singh. The speakers of this session are going to be MAYANK SAKSENA, Mahaveer Ji Mehta, MANEESH YADAV, and Ramkishan Kohli. A louder round of applause is needed, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Thank you, sir. Moving on. Introducing our moderator for the next session, which is the next decade in real estate. It's going to give you a lot of incentives, a lot of perception about what the next decade is going to look like in real estate. ASHWINDER successfully led a Fortune 500 globally IPC firm, JLL Residential, as its CEO, focused on consulting, residential sales, and developer services. He then founded and led ANAROCK, which is as its co-founder and CEO in India and UAE. He was also a founder member of Fullerton Securities, a part of Temasek. Earlier, ASHWINDER held diverse senior executive roles at Citibank, Deutsche Bank, ICICI Bank, and Bajaj Housing Finance. He currently serves as CEO, residential at Bhartiya Urban, which is Bhartiya City. ASHWINDER was named Real Estate Person of the Year South 2022 by Construction Week. He's also the recipient of the CMO Asia's Most Entrepreneurial CEO of the Year award in 2016. Can we have a round of applause for him, please? Come on, everyone. Our first speaker for today is Mayank Saxena, who is the CEO and Managing Director, Land at ANAROCK. With over 20 years of experience in real estate consulting, Mayank successfully manages the pan-India land vertical with strong leadership and interpersonal skills. Mayank has led some landmark transactions across all asset classes in various geographies, like acquisition of Alpha G Corp by Blackstone, assisted Lodha Group in entering the Bangalore market through acquisition of 1.2 million square feet of residential space in North Bangalore, acquisition of prime residential space in NCR by Bharti Group, AIG disposition of EcoSpace to Ambuja in Kolkata, etc. Please welcome him with an applause, ladies and gentlemen. Mayank Saxena for you. Our next speaker is Maneesh Yadav, who is the MD CEO at ASK Financial Holdings, managing debt of ASK Group since year 2018. He has more than 25 years of experience in banking and financial services. In the last role as CEO of Real Estate Fund at Aditya Birla Capital, he's managed an AUM of $200 million, having domestic and offshore capital. He has been instrumental in setting up wholesale and retail business at Aditya Birla Finance. He has been a part of commercial real estate at mortgage business at ICICI in the early part of his career. He is BE, MBA, and alumni of Harvard Business School. Mr. Maneesh Yadav for you. Can we have a round of applause for him? Our next speaker is Mr. Mahaveer Mehta, who is the Chief Managing Director of Swamitva Group, which is having successful track record of 30 years of having a presence in Bangalore, Solapur, Pune, Vijayapur, as well as Melbourne, Australia, as the Ataland Swamitva. Mr. Mehta believes that strong investor and client relationship can take a brand new height. His manifesting relationship with industry professionals led to some landmark projects across the state. Today, this group, under the leadership and guidance, has diversified into real estate, solar power, civil infrastructure, contracting, information technology, warehousing services, and sports, with operation across Karnataka, Maharashtra, and pioneering the real estate services in Australia. Mr. Mehta is the living example for fresh approach to the snob world of urban real estate. Please welcome him with an applause, ladies and gentlemen. And the final speaker for today of this session is Mr. Ramkishan Kohli, who is the business head of Fullerton India Home Finance Company. At Fullerton, Ram manages a portfolio of 6,200 crores, which includes the construction finance, home loan, and lab. Ram carries over 20 years of real estate and financial services experience. Prior to Fullerton, Ram was associated with L&T, ICICI Bank, Tata Housing, and Capri Global. Let's have a grand applause for all the panelists and our moderator, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. I'm sure the people sitting behind are going to gain a lot of perspective. Let's have a louder round of applause for all of them, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Murali, for a lovely keynote. It was quite inspiring. And I echo most of the things that you shared, especially on the organized front. You know, my father was in the Indian Army, and he was the gentleman in 1971 who supervised the surrender of arms by the Pakistani Army Chief, General Niazi. Thank you. So we generally are invited to various army functions, and yesterday there was the Southern Command investiture ceremony where I and my wife were formally invited. And there were a lot of ministers, and obviously the GOC&C Lieutenant General Ajay Singh was there. And Murali, the point that you raised, and as a senior in the industry, I follow you. You know, there were around 1,000 people, and there was pin drop silence. Pin drop means there were at least 10 generals, there were 20 brigadiers, there were more than 50 colonels. Southern Command is the largest command, covering 8 states and 3 union territories. And 1,000 people outdoor, and there was pin drop silence. And maybe that is why we are such a secure country, because we have a great armed forces. But the contribution of the Jain community in the Indian economy is phenomenal, and the contribution of the Jain community, I have been closely associated with it because I've had 3 bosses who have been Jains recently in Bajaj Housing, with Atul Jain and Rajiv Jain Atul Jain being my immediate boss. And that is one of the reasons Bajaj Finance is so successful. So a big round of applause for the Jain community. And a lot of Jain leaders. Even MR is headed by a gentleman who's a Jain based in Dubai. So, and lovely. Thank you, Murali. I'm honored to be moderating this session with such distinguished colleagues of mine from the industry, from the financial services and real estate. All of them are good friends, and all of them are highly successful people in their own ways, very senior leaders. Thank you, Vikas Gulecha, for kind of inviting me to moderate the session. So the topic is next decade in real estate, and I will start with MANEESH. It is in no particular order, but my first question to you is, how do you see the role of private equity funds, especially in case of land acquisition in the near future and the coming decade?
Hello. Yeah. Thanks, ASHWINDER. And thank you everyone for inviting us. It's a pleasure. And thank you, Murali. I mean, quite a insightful, meaningful session, which gave a good insight. And thank you for the community. We've always been thankful to you for leading this country in a particular spiritual manner. I mean, that's definitely, all of us owe that to you, and that's a rightful way. Coming back to the question, today, when we look at the stage where we are in, and especially India, if we look back since 2000, we had huge amount of capital coming in the pre-year. I'm talking about pre-financial, global financial crisis, GFC, huge foreign capital coming into India, okay? Unfortunately, we never respected that capital for whatever reasons. I mean, there are multiple reasons for that. And then we saw the drought from 2010 onwards till about 2018. We saw a complete drought of capital, or there's no capital available being there. And now, post-COVID, we are seeing a momentum change. Classic example, year 21, 22, where we are sitting in this state or in this city, there's a growth of 40% in sales and almost 40% in launch. Clearly, a sea change in terms of the mood and the momentum of people. So, how does it translate? One, can we continue with it? Second part, will it be sustainable? Because real estate is just not about being demand. It's like a factory. You have an input, which is land. Then you convert it, you put things into it, and there's an output, which you sell it out to your investors or customers, for that matter. The fact is that today the demand is there. I mean, it's a classic example where the demand is there. The lands are available, but the prices have increased. But the fact is that, is there capital available for these acquisitions? The answer is the capital hasn't changed. I mean, we see growth happening, whether it is on numbers, whether it is on the demand, but the capital scenario hasn't changed in India. And especially after a lot of deliberation and a lot of RBI controls. I mean, classic is NBFCs. I mean, NBFCs have been told not to be part of the land acquisitions. Banks were never there. Banks they've been shying away for many times. So the only left is private equity or the internal capital which a developer generates. So is that scenario changing? My sense is it'll take a while. For that, 2-3 things are required. One, we need a continuable or growth. This is a third year of growth. When we are entering year 2023, this is a third year of growth. Our sense is it will last for another 4 to 5 years. But the fact is that this year is going to be very important whether we continue with the momentum. So that's the first which any capital allocator looks at, that do you have a growth in that? Second is the governance part, which comes into our people. Do the people value that capital and it's into the right spirit? So that's something which is very important. We've seen a sea change, and that's what even Murali talked about. There's a clear classification happening. Small developers are vaping out, or they're not getting capital, and the large are accumulating that. So there's clearly a demarcation happening on that particular front. And the third, which is final, is where the regulatory aspect, where do we have a regulatory return? Because any investor, when he's looking at giving capital for land or acquisition, he's looking at a return. Today, with the dollar to rupee, the foreign investments are a challenge today. But the good part is there's enough and more money which is available, the wealth, the money which is domestic money is available. That is definitely from a liquidity and an opportunity standpoint, that's there. There are large funds like us who depend on domestic capital as well as overseas capital. That opportunity, we feel it's gonna be there. But for that, very clearly, we have to be disciplined, and that's something which is there. So coming back to your point, it took a little while, but the fact is that there'll not be a starking change that the money will be rolling the way it was rolling pre-2008. It is very selective, only for those people who have the capability and the might to convert that, the demand being supporting of that. But today for actual normal operational capital is available. But for acquisition, the capital is still limited. That's my answer.
Thank you. Very well explained, Manish. My next question, Mahaveerji, is for you. And there is a reason. As a developer and as the way the real estate has behaved in the last couple of years, which has been very encouraging. आपको क्या लगता है कि सबसे 2-3 important चीजें, which are the 2-3 most important things that are required to continue the growth, जो हमारी growth रही है 2021 और 22 में, इसके लिए क्या 2-3 चीजें हैं कि ये growth जो है is sustainable and can continue at least for the next decades. A lot of pundits say that this is sustainable, this is going to be the best decade for real estate. Sometimes मुझे लगता है we are also very good marketeers, तो हम हमेशा अच्छी बातें करना चाहते हैं real estate के बारे में, ताकि कोई तो बोले, जैसे मुरली ने बोला कि everybody ends up criticizing. तो real estate की खासियत क्या है कि हम लोग अपने आप ही अपनी तारीफ करते रहते हैं, so that कुछ तो पॉजिटिविटी आए, और उसका फायदा ये हुआ कि लास्ट 2 years have been very good. तो आपको क्या लगता है कि 2-3 चीजें वो क्या हैं which are required to build a very strong growth momentum in the real estate industry?
Thank you, Ashwinder, for inviting me to this panel. You rightly said that we have to boost our own whatever good things what we are doing. Otherwise, the positive and the environment, the mindset of government will not be created. So we have to go on talking whatever best we are doing. The consumers' behavior pattern is changing fast. If you see post-COVID, we were talking about these millionaire home buyers and they don't want to buy the homes, right? But after COVID, suddenly what has happened in the market, you have seen and we all have seen, that people now want to buy the houses and they want to have the large functional spaces. They want bigger houses now. So when we were designing the project which we are going to launch now, we were been taken services of CBRE or people like ANAROCK, and they designed that it should be a 2 BHK and 3 BHK for the micro market like HSR and all those areas. But then that time we thought that let us have some sort of functionality where we can convert those houses into 2 BHK to 4 BHK and all those. And you see the consumer behavioral pattern change. The people who are not asking for 2 BHK, my 2 BHK are not getting sold.
Absolutely.
And they are asking for 3.5 BHK,
Absolutely.
4 BHK. So the consumer pattern for the functionality of the houses. Then suddenly, because after the COVID, the working from home culture has come. So the people are spending more time in the house. So now they are aware of the wellness. After COVID, they are again conscious on the health of the people. So houses has to be designed from the perspective of wellness. So the wellness not from the amenities what we create, but the wellness in the houses. So you have to design in such a way that you bring a lot of sunlight, lot of ventilation. You use a lot of antioxidant paints. Or one of my project in Kanakpura Road, you see, what we have done is we have designed it in such a way that it is a house itself is a breathable house. We have done the mud blocks, then we again reinvented our old technology of putting the lime plaster, organic paints and all those things. And you can feel the difference of 4 to 5 degree temperature difference. Again, this millionaire also are of the thought process that amenities and the luxury requirement which suits their lifestyle has to be there in the project. So this behavioral change of people has changed and they want more bigger houses. Now people all over the world, the master planners are planning in such a way that integrated townships are created, wherein you can go for work in 5 to 10 minutes walk. You can go to school for 5 to 10 minutes walk. You can go to a social infrastructure. You can go to the medical infrastructure. So this is the behavioral pattern what will change. And because Bangalore being the market where a lot of research and R&D centers are there, there are a lot of ecosystem of startup. The market is going to be bullish in Bangalore. That is what I believe. And definitely real estate, because after the arrival of RERA and all those things, we are also organized very well. So people now are not more on the brand centric. People think from the perspective what the developer is giving us and what he is delivering. So metaverse again is going to play a major role, and virtual reality now, we were all these olden days where when we used to boost a lot of things in the brochure and our brochure was selling. Now the brochure will not sell, the metaverse will sell. Thank you.
Wow. I'm quite inspired when you're talking about metaverse. Not bad at all. And I'm sure things are really going to change. And Ram, I will come to you in the end when I want to take your perspective on technology as well on other things. Because we started with finance, we'll end with finance. Because finance के बिना तो कुछ होता नहीं है. तो मैंने कहा इन दोनों को शुरुआत और एंड में सूत्रधार बना लेते हैं. Now coming to the most important aspect, and Mayank, who's a dear friend who heads land for ANAROCK and has been doing a lot of work on the land front. Mayank, I really want to understand on what is going on in India in terms of land. We are hearing this is the best year in the last decade in which number of land deals have happened. I remember you did a couple of big land deals in 2018, 16, 17. But they say this is the best year in terms of number of land deals happening. In the H1, I was in a conference where CBRE said that 1.1 billion, matlab 10,000 crore ki land deals hui in H1, which was coming out to an average land deal of around 13 to 14 crores per acre, which is around 44,000 square feet. I'm not calculating FSI. So what is going on in land and what do you think is required to continue this momentum in land from a financing standpoint or from an availability standpoint? And what do you think are the challenges also from a legality or a consolidation, right?
Thank you, Ashwinder. So first, thank you for inviting me for this panel. Interestingly, if you look at post-COVID, so if you look at post-COVID, when the demand started picking up, and I remember in a lot of organizations, we used to hear back from them that the sales team will have no job if they don't start acquiring new projects. So the wheels had started, turning. Real estate, as we all know, that it's a cyclical business. So 8 years it goes down, 8 years it comes back, and probably, luckily, we need a starter, and COVID became a starter when housing suddenly started moving from just a usership to ownership mode. And we saw a lot of traction happening in that, and that's how the land demand also came up. But what happened and what drastically changed, and that's why so many deals happened in last 1 year, was that if you look at before that, land was actually typically taken from, say, landowners or from HNIs or from corporates. But in this phase, there was a lot of consolidation which happened. So what had happened was that the weaker players, which realized that post-RERA, they were finding it difficult to get money, to get buyers. They had to restart or they had to reestablish the organization. The only way out was that you move the whole packet. And we saw a lot of huge amount of consolidation happening from these players to more organized players. If you look at even in the sales side, the sales before the RERA time was actually spread across to all the sections of the developers. But after RERA and after so much of projects getting installed and all that, the sales started getting corrected. The sales also was focused only to the bigger players who were more compliant and who were doing better product and where the delivery was for sure. So that became a big reason that why so much of land transactions could happen in this year. The movement will continue to happen. Only thing is that probably my worry is that, see, we humans have short memories. So जो गलतियां हमने तब करी थी, वो गलतियां again अगर हम करेंगे, तो फिर से difficulties में पड़ जाएंगे. And we have started seeing those mistakes again start happening. And I hope that, that trend changes. We don't again end up doing all the mistakes back again and stand in the same position. And hopefully, by not doing those mistakes, this decade could become a, much bigger, better, and a glorified decade.
Very, very, very rightly said. I'm sure आप सब stock market में तो invest करते ही होंगे. कितने लोग करते हैं? Can you raise your hands who invest in the stock market? Most of you, right? तो अभी what Mayank said के हम वो गलतियां नहीं करेंगे, तो हमारे सिटी बैंक में एक चीज़ बताते थे, वो ऐसे हाथ बना देते थे. बोलते थे जब मार्केट इधर होती है कोई नहीं इन्वेस्ट करता, फिर इधर आती है तो लोग सोचना करते हैं इन्वेस्ट करें, फिर जब यहाँ पहुँच जाती है सबसे ऊपर तो सब इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, उसके बाद मार्केट नीचे गिरना शुरू हो जाती है. And all traders lose money. So I think the market is very buoyant right now, and Mayank, very important point that you have said, and actually I would also want to keep it in mind as a developer that we should not make mistakes. And we were discussing के काफ़ी developers हैं जो अब land acquire कर रहे हैं, but जब जैसे मयंक गए एक जगह और उन्होंने जब जाके देखा कि वो project कहाँ launch हुआ है, बैंगलोर के अंदर 12-15 हज़ार रुपए पर square feet का project है, and the access was not that good. So we were just thinking कि यार कैसे, why should you do a launch in such a place? And I will come back. Ram, my point to you is that you are doing a national role of lending across retail lending, SME lending, you are financing construction, you are doing developer finance. With the rate of interest that have kind of increased by 200 pips in the last 1 year or so, one, I would want to understand what is your perspective as a lender, that where is the rate of interest going to go? Where does it stop? And do you think there is a probability that it will again come down a little? Or it will maybe remain at this level? And what is the impact that you see on the growth of real estate, especially residential, not just in top 7 cities, but in the next 7 cities where you might be lending or you have a perspective on?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Jito, for inviting me. It's a great honor. And first of all, I wanted to talk on generally my association or my relationship with the Jain community. So firstly, I'll see while we are on the lending side, we meet a lot of developers, and largely majority of the developers we funded are also from this community. And real estate is a family business, and we see a true family business in the Jain community. That's what, like completely the family as a group, and they involve full-fledged in the business. And through my career journey, and I learned a lot personally and got inspired from this community, and a great respect I carry, and as a lenders we all carry. That's great. Kudos to you all. Okay. Coming back, Ashwinder, thanks, and thanks for a right question, which is relevant. Great. See, coming to this, it's a very unfortunate. Of course, anything which is like once in 100 years, the pandemic like this, it happens. So a lot of an economy which is growing will have a lot of impact, and across all the global, all economies have got impacted, and due to which the repo rates have gone up to close to 4%. And when the overall economy got buoyant and it's got a rebound in such a way, and suddenly inflation has gone up, and there is no choice but the central banks have to increase the repo rates, and it's gone up to 6.25 now, which is like a 2.25 increase within very short cycle of 6 months. I think in the shortest span of a cycle increase, I think this is the fastest. I mean, when I look at my retail borrowers, it's really hard on them. But a good part for the retail borrowers is the tenors will increase. The home loan tenor will increase. The EMI will remain the same. They will not realize. But at times it says that it is actually that the loan is not running down. That is the unfortunate part. And because the eligibilities are drawn basis the rate that they can afford as a monthly payment. So today, a lot of retail home loans that has been taken from all the developers here, they're not realizing it. But we know the capital is, the principal amount is not reducing for them. So the effect pinch there, they felt is relatively low. So that's why generally the impact is not being seen. But the next question is, yes, there may be a chances of another round increase. Another point which also MURALI mentioned, so Japan going to recession is also the reason why they have not, because they have not increased the rates. If we don't increase, the inflation cannot be controlled. So as an economy, it's a right thing that to be done. So that's how the financial industry also institutionally we all done. And we passed on that. So there is another round where there is a chances of increase. But for the developer community, it's a selective choice. All the lenders have done it. They have not directly passed because we also seen that margins have impacted. So the margins that were available before COVID or maybe it's been really long time we have seen the margins were actually increased. They are in a squeezing trend. And prices also not much increased in majority of the markets post-COVID. And the cost of input cost in terms of labor cost is significantly increased, and the steel and they've increased now, they've got rationalized and optimized. So we have seen the margins are still there, and but they are not improving. So we are not able to pass on the full benefit on that. So as a lender, and most of my lender friends are also not done that. So if you see most of the, except for a few banks which have got purely at a very attractive rates, they have got increased. So it will not really much impact the construction finance space. That's what I see it. But in the future, when I look at it, whether it will go down, yes, it has to, because it is not sustainable. But as a country, we have seen repo rates of close to 8.59 as well in 2009 and 10. When the Lehman happened, it is shot up quite significantly. And also, we have seen a big growth in the real estate industry. So any cycle of this is also gives a input to a big jump of a real estate jump, which I have seen. I've invested when my personal investments are maybe developers have tracked. And post this kind of an impact of repo rates increase, the inflation rates increases, the chances of growth at a different level it growing is high, because the incomes increases, the business growth revenues have increases. So all bank books becomes bigger. So I think it all goes to in a positive trend. That's what I see it.
Thank you. Yeah, sure.
One thing. We get, that's fair, yeah, I think so. We get bogged down by the increase rates. I mean, if you look at it, we have to really clap our government and the RBI for this. This is the first time where when everybody was printing money, if you look at US, I mean, they came from almost zero to about, if I'm not mistaken, about 6.5, okay? That's the number which they've gone on to. Europe, from about 0.01 to about 3.5. So there's a 3% increase. UK, another classic example, shifted from 0.1, 0.15 to another 4.5%. Everybody has increased from 3.5, 4, 4.5. We are still about 2.25s. If you look at inflation, those countries had never seen inflations. They were almost zero or 1 point. Today, UK is 9.5% inflation. US is roughly about, if my numbers are right, US is 7.5% inflation, okay? We're still talking about, we were at 4.5, 5, we are still talking about 6.5. So we really have to give it to our government, our RBI in terms of managing. Today, the fact, coming back to his point that is this sustainable? Is this real estate sustainable with the increase in rates? We have to see fundamentally one difference which has made is, if you look back in those good old years, all banks, including us and all of us come from those banks, we used to fund 85, 90, 95% also. Gone are those days. RBI is very clear, 75 is your threshold, 25 is what you have to put in. These are some certain things which have clearly put in those guards where you can't go wrong. Secondly, even if when it goes up, rightly mentioned, your tenure increases, it doesn't pinch you today. So the fact is that times have changed. We've learned the government regulator is far more into it, and they are monitoring it. So our suggestion or our point is that it will increase, but it will get stable. I mean, looking at it, the way the economy is doing, and especially our domestic economy is doing, I mean, we clearly feel that way. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you, Ram, and thank you, Manish, for kind of pitching in, because I would have wanted your perspective on this important aspect. Very some pertinent points, shared by both of you. I want to come back to Mayank on this important thing. So Mayank, can you shed more light in terms of how do you think the prices of land are going to kind of behave in the coming times, maybe the near future? Let's not go up to a decade, because that's too long a term. And what is your advice to your clients who are primarily real estate developers in terms of, because what we were discussing just before the panel, how do you figure out that this is a good land to buy, especially if the land is a little outside of the city limit? So what are the areas that a developer should look at? You as a domain expert in terms of land, these are a couple of things that I would want you to share with us.
So, Ashwinder, interestingly, if you look at land prices have started firming up, and we'll see, they, firming up a little bit further more. But the only change this time from what used to happen earlier is that there was a mad rush before when somebody was buying land. So they used to be very, very optimistic, and they used to go and buy lands without even thinking that, when you're constructing and delivering a product, are you be able to really make money or not? Today, the good part is that when a developer office is evaluating a land parcel, they're very, very careful that it should not happen that you buy the land price right. So good thing is that at least that kind of correction or the, tone in the market is that when you're going and doing any acquisition, you'll do the acquisition from a perspective that if your product is being delivered, and even if the product is not seeing a price escalation, then, your project will still make money. So you're not going to bet on, expensive lands and all that. And we've seen when the lands are outpriced in the market, they continue to remain there until their price gets normalized. Yeah. So that's a good change. And I feel that, definitely because the demand being more, the developers also have to be more conscious in terms of where to pick, how to pick, and which land parcel to pick, and see what is the neighborhood and all that. Good thing is the consumer has become very, very intelligent nowadays. Gone are the time when the consumer used to walk in and just test their apartment with their tennis balls and all that. Now the times that they go with their laser and check everything to that detail, which is very, very good for the industry. Because when your customer becomes so important and intelligent, you automatically have to become so intelligent also. And you have to put corrective courses to yourself, to ensure that whatever you're constructing and where you're constructing is absolutely correct. When it comes to land acquisition, Ashwinder, interestingly, if you look at, it's a very tricky subject. And my advice to all my clients first is that, see, if the land has any issues, you can still correct it. So if the title issues there, you can correct it. Litigation is there, you can correct it. If some few things are there, physically you can correct it. But you can't correct a human being. So whenever we are going for acquisition, probably the guy who owns the land, you have to first talk बजा के देखना पड़ता है, how is he? Because, उसको आप correction कुछ कर ही नहीं सकते हो. So you have to be very important that, you're going to be taking that land from the right partner. And that's where, the key start happens whenever, a team goes for a land acquisition, that, your supply side, the person who's owning the land has to be first, hygiene check has to be there. Then when you go out and acquire, you have to at least see that, how your customers are going to, what kind of approach road is there currently, what kind of infrastructure development the government is going to do, in the coming years. But instead of depending too much on the government, to ensure that whatever is there good for the use of it. Third thing is ensuring that, you don't go and start outsmarting and thinking that, oh, I can manage the government or I can play with the bylaws and all that. So you have to be very careful that, boss, times have changed. You have to play in those bylaws and ensure that, you don't try defaulting and you don't try thinking that now I'm going to manage the government and do stuff. I think so, we need to get away from that and we need to start following the laws. And last, which I feel extremely important, that while, this community has taught the whole world that you have to be sensitive towards the environment, the ecology, and don't disturb the nature. So while we are going out and constructing and developing, I feel it's very important as a developer when we go out and choose lands and develop, we have to be very sure that we don't start destroying the nature and the environment. The city saw what happened few months back only when the city was, inundated with heavy rains. And the funny part is not only Bangalore, it was like as if every large city in India was going through that phase. And just for the greed, when we start intervening too much with the environment and playing too much with the environment, the environment also comes back and plays with us. I think it's a balance. So I think so that's where it's very important that as a developer, when we go out and choose it, we have to be very sure about, what we are putting our hands into it. Interestingly, Ashwinder, all the big developers, they invest a lot and put large teams behind when it gets into selection of land. And from top to bottom, they've got a huge checklist. I have, some of our clients have checklists which is close to some 60, 70 points.
Send it to me.
100%. Before, they go out and, do any acquisition. But interestingly, while working with all these guys, we saw the first checklist is who is the owner. If the owner is not right, you are calling for trouble.
No, excellent point. You can't change mindset. ईमानदार आदमी ईमानदार रहता है, बेईमान आदमी ultimately कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ कर देता है. You can't change mindset. Excellent point. Mahavir ji, my point to you is you spoke about sustainability, and in Bangalore, when you talk about rent versus buy, I feel buy becomes heavier on rent because the rental yield in Bangalore is now 5 to 6%. We have Leela residences in Bhartiya city, a 1 BHK Leela residences, 1,000 square feet. We've just, the owner has put it on rent for 1.75 lakhs. Niku Homes, a studio which the owner bought for 36 lakhs, 450 apartment, 450 square feet, has gone on a rent of 22,000 rupees. So, and there are people who are trying to find places on rent in Bangalore and they are not getting it. So I've started saying that rather than buy versus rent, and people used to say rent because you will save capital and you can invest it somewhere else. But right now it looks like because on a fixed deposit you get 4%. And if your rental yield is also 4%, forget about 5 and 6%, you also have capital appreciation. So you have a residential REIT on hand that you not just make money on the rent, but you also make money on the capital value. But sir, my question to you is that how do you look at Bangalore specifically? Which is the micro market in Bangalore, north, south, west, which is really doing well? और आपका क्या view है कि as an end user and as an investor, should somebody go in for a plot only as an investor, or should an end user also go and buy a plot and build a home on it?
So this is a very valid question. Now, if you see, you are lucky to have those type of rents in your Nicoms and all those things. But then it is not the trend all over the Bangalore.
आप नहीं बोला ना, because we are an integrated township, and now that the township has all the assets, the hotel has opened, the mall has opened, and people see value of walking towards office. Most of the residents of Niku homes, and as we thought, finally, have their kids studying in our international school. So teachers are from Niku homes, or from Shobha City, which is just besides. So the value of integrated township, because you end up spending, आप 2500 रुपया स्क्वायर फीट तो सिटी बनाने में लगा देते हैं.
बराबर. So to add to this, I would like to add here one point that if you take the residential sector, I will divide it into three parts. One is high rise, one is the plotted development, and one is the villa development. So in the high rise, what happens? No, generally, if you see all over the Bangalore, the rental yield is around somewhere around 3.5 to 4%. And when the housing rate of interest was at 6%, with the capital growth every year, they were sustaining because they were able to invest in the residential houses. My experience with the Australian market is different. There, the rate of interest for buying the houses is at 2%, whereas the student housing, they are paying them rent of 4 to 5%. And they have the negative gearing of the depreciation in the whatever houses they buy. So that becomes very lucrative for them to invest into the houses. So everybody will be investing in houses, they will be having 4 to 5, 6 houses. Coming down to the investment in the plotted development, definitely it is giving a very good yield, and tier 2, tier 3 cities, including the Bangalore, is becoming a major investment into the plotted development. And if I see particularly the micro market, globally, wherever the airport infrastructure comes, Those are the area where development happens, and we can see the growth in the North Bangalore. Kanakpura Road is also doing fantastic because metro has gone up to the art of living. And because of the road infrastructure development on the Mysore Road, Mysore is going to see a larger boom now. And in fact, if you see the Whitefield and all those areas, though they are already heavily crowded, but if the social infrastructure or the metro infrastructure comes there, that is going to stay there because there are a lot of office spaces working there. Hoskote is one more revolving because the warehousing sector is developing like very madly in Hoskote and Malur. So in fact, if you see, the investors can invest in the land, all those areas. And coming down to the last question to Mayank, I would like to add something. While buying the land, very, very important is the legality of the land. And the developer or the person who is buying should have a very in-depth knowledge of the legality of land. Because most of the developer or most of the people who have failed, they have failed because of the legality of the land. And if you end up buying a land which is not legal, one project itself will screw your whole portfolio.
So true, so true. This is my last question, and I think we are getting out of time. My question is to Maneesh as well as to Ram, and maybe one of you can, Ram, you can kind of pick it up, is that how do you see the housing for all, the role of financial services, housing finance companies coming in? How do you see liquidity is going to pan out? And do you think that the financial services risk appetite has been getting constrained over a period of time, especially the NBFCs? And do you think NBFCs will get more teeth in the time to come to serve such a large segment of customers, especially in tier 2 and tier 3 cities? Because NBFCs can provide a faster TAT, NBFCs can provide a better service, NBFCs, even on the retail side or the developer finance side, when we were in Bajaj Housing, I have disbursed loans in 48 hours. And these are new loans because I had to compete with some of the very large players. So just your view on the next decade in terms of the role of housing finance companies, the way you guys look at risk, you guys look at liquidity, and how aggressive you think organizations like yours, which are highly respected, are going to play out and contribute to the growth in the housing for all.
Yeah, thanks. Just to add before that, on the part of the rentals, I just want to add a small point and before we move. So the net rental yields are effectively lower for a lot of people because of the tax. Because why I'm touching it, because now the budget is coming. I think a lot of submissions were also happening on that space, where someone is actually having a 25-30 lakhs of an income and he wanted to stay in Indira Nagar, but he cannot buy. Maybe he can buy it in Attibille or Anekal, somewhere, and he can able to buy it and rent it out. But when the net rentals that he takes, and he has to pay tax on that. So at least some the affordable space on that, up to a 50 lakhs kind of thing, up to a 3 lakhs or 6 lakhs, up to 5 lakhs kind of an annual rentals, if it becomes a net tax free, that's where is what the submission comes. Then a lot of affordable space on housing that is getting built. Maybe an end user is not buying, but end user is staying on rent there. Eventually he may buy there. Okay, so but and this buyer, he's buying, and he has to choose between a house HRA or maybe a tax benefit on the rent, because he has to pay the tax also. This is something which I think technically will help largely on our overall rental yields for a lot of investors, and that would help overall Indian rental yields also can improve. That's what I see it. And coming back to your question on housing for all, one Murali morning mentioned, India will be the 2023, the economist also predicting that will be the largest populated country in the world. That means largest number of households. And we all should be proud in this industry that we're providing to the largest homes, and India will be the largest homes in the world, definitely. So, and it's a lot of responsibility for all. While it grows, it also widens the shortfall. So today the 19 million household, the home shortfall, it also gets widened up to 36 million, I guess. That's what the housing ministry is predicting. So a lot of efforts have been happening there, and on that space in terms of some way directly supporting customers in terms of CLSS schemes, like which was actually stopped. Now they have to restart now. Well, that's where the discussions were happening. But there's a huge money which has gone into the COVID. Ideally would have been, also some of them would have been passed on there, 2.63 lakhs. That's credit benefit directly. And a lot of refinance schemes are also available. for the lenders. And now the next big revolution that we're going to see is the green affordable housing, affordable green housing, which is where the developers who's focusing on affordable housing for the green and green housing they're building, there will be some kind of interest benefits would be coming in. So that is where is the focus is. So housing for all as a mission and the gap that building in and the growth that is happening in, the lot of liquidity is coming us because a lot of push is also happening for us to draw down a lot of from the NHB because I represent HFC Housing Finance Company because we have a lot of, and it's been regulated by National Housing Board, which a lot of impetus is there. They wanted to push liquidity into the housing finance companies so that we lend to informal, formal, prime to everyone across. So, it may be a differential cost it comes in, but idea was to penetrate the places where the bank could not penetrate. Yeah, so that's largely a lot of things are coming in that space. I think it definitely, the liquidity will flow in and definitely it's a good thing that would participate.
Manish, your views on this, more from a wholesale perspective as well.
Hello. Yeah. So more so, if you look at it, lending is divided into two parts. One is wholesale, which is to the developers, what kind of capital is there, and second is on the retail side. One, on the retail side, what Ram just stated, there is enough and more which is available. All banks, all NBFCs, all housing finance companies are, if you look at stock market, the more retailish you are, the more growth you are giving, your value goes up. So everybody is focusing on retail. So I don't see next 3 years any problems in terms of whether it's housing finance, NBFCs or banks, any challenges in terms of retail lending. Even going to the tier 2, tier 3, even going to, there are specific housing finance companies which are only doing tier 2, tier 3 because that's where the margins are. Okay. So from a retail standpoint, we don't see any challenges at all in terms, rather they are equally equipped and market is completely being capped or marketed by these housing finance companies and banks. The challenge comes on the wholesale side. The wholesale side, today, the banks were restrictive to lending to developers. Only working capital was available. There was NBFC which was there. There also, if you look at the last RBI guidelines, clearly whatever the gaps were there between a bank lending and an NBFC lending has been taken off. So they are almost at par with them. So that again becomes a little constrained. Third is in terms of how the housing finance companies. Even for them, it is absolutely similar in par with the banks. So the question comes, where will the capital come from? So will there be a challenge in terms of growth? The fact is that, as rightly said, today people are buying land, all that is happening, but it is only concentrated to few. That's available to only few. Working capital, where the developer, if we go by the discipline, where developer puts in his money, 30% land is owned, working capital is taken, there is demand, there will be output. There will be no challenge in terms of that. And there are all banks and NBFCs who are trying to work, even in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, to help the developers provide that working capital. But if we are saying that, will somebody fund land? That will still a question mark. It is available. What was available was all developed land with approvals in place, distressed land, all that was available. But it will be a little challenging for next 2 years, specifically when we look at the way the market is going. And if we have to understand, wherever we are seeing this demand, 2 BHK going to 3 BHK, having a working cycle, there is a lot of stock market effect also. People have made money, people were at houses, they made money on stock market, their capital values have gone up. So that's something which is clearly playing on to the ground. So we feel it is there. Bank and institutions are very clearly there in terms of availability for all.
Great. Thank you so much. I couldn't have asked for a better panel. Ram, Mahaveer ji, Mayank, Manish, I am definitely leaving as a more learned person. One of the important points that came up on land is, if I quickly summarize the discussion is, you can't change people, you can't change mindset, so it is important to see who's the owner of the land. Legality aspect of land that Mahaveer pointed out is very important. The two gentlemen who were stalwarts from the housing finance and financial services industry, funding to real estate, retail, as well as developers, have given a good perspective in terms of it is going to be a controlled growth, is what I can understand. It is not going to be blindfolded. Retailer and retail lending is going to define the success of housing finance companies and vice versa. So overall, the next decade looks great for real estate. आपको अगर मैं कुछ आंकड़े बताऊं, तो पिछले साल 2,15,000 घर बिके थे, which is a growth of 70% over 21, which is the highest in the last 10 years. अगर आपको एक और आंकड़ा मैं बताऊं, तो नई launches कुछ 2,50,000 हुई थी, 2.5 lakh of new launches happened in the top 7 cities, which is a growth of 85% over 81. So the thing is that maybe there was some pent-up demand that has been consumed. A lot of people wanted to buy a house and stay in it. There is an emotional connect and emotional security that is there with a home. That is also playing its role rather than just return on investments. 23, as Maneesh said, I loved that point a lot, is going to be the defining year. Because अभी हमारे को लग रहा है थोड़ा सा slowdown आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है, कैसा हो रहा है. Mayank also made that point. If we are able to get through 23, even with a 30-35% growth on new launches, on home sales over 22, then the next 10 years are sealed, and that will also mean that our economy actually not just reaches 5 trillion, but maybe more than 5 trillion. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and I wish JITO and the Jain community all the very best, and please continue to do the good work that you do, and you support the Indian economy so well. Once again, a very big thank you from me and all my panelists. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashwinder. It was a wonderful session. All of us enjoyed, and especially the insights, and you really got the things out of everyone, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. And thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, panelists. Can I please request you all to stay on the stage? And can I please request Vikasji Golecha, Pankaj Jain, Pritesh Jain, Nitin Kataria, Siddharth Patwa, Mishrimalji Kataria, Sunilji Salecha to please come up on the dais to felicitate all our panelists. Thank you so much, panelists, for giving such an optimistic 2023 and the next decade that you presented to us with your very insightful perspectives. Ladies and gentlemen, we would now break for lunch, and we would request all of you to please be back by 2 p.m. sharp, because we are going to introduce the next session, which is the very, very interesting one, alternative investments and rental avenues in real estate, which is going to be moderated by Mr. Vikas Gulecha. So make sure you're here on time, and we will be starting sharp at 2 p.m. Thank you. Lunch is served at Kalinga Hall 2. Please make your way through this door to the left, down the street. This door to the left, down the street, Kalinga Hall 2. Thank you.